This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts. Call 0808 1717 700.
Let's go!
John, Celtic go in as racing favourites, but first, what do you make of the Celtic lineup? This is, I think, what you predicted the other night.
I did, Paul. The only one I sort of wasn't quite 100% with was whether he'd play James Forrest on the right or play Coon, but he's obviously gone with Coon, which is absolutely it's pretty much like for like. James Forrest will be on the substitutes bench and he'll be absolutely dying to get on and play a part. If he does play a part, he won't let anybody down. So much experience. And as I said, he could have easily gone with Forrest today. He just decided to go with Coon.
So the only newcomer for Celtic starting is Kasper Schmeichel. And, he's had some career, we know it, but he's never played in the Old Firm derby. Craig, for Rangers, they arrived a little while ago. Saw Barry Ferguson there with the team as they arrived. Rangers, few new starts for an Old Firm game.
Four newbies. You're right, Paul. You proper Jefty, Barron and Czerny. So that's very, very interesting. I think the starting lineup is what most people have expected. Sterling, I think it was important. Lawrence is the one that stepped aside for this particular match, but Sterling, in terms of going in there in the middle of the park, I think to try and make Rangers a little bit more solid, a little bit more competitive in there. Some key duels, Paul. There really is. I mean, Maeda and Tavernier is always a fascinating one, and Maeda's had the upper hand on Tavernier. But
it's been so tough, hasn't it, for the Rangers captain? Many thought he'd be gone, but he's not. He's there.
And he's there, and certainly, still got a big job to try and get Rangers at that level. Diamande and for me, McGregor. That really is a key part of what we're going to see today, and in terms of where the advantage is going to go.
How do you think he'll do, Diamande? He's impressed.
Yeah, he has. I think he's looking stronger and stronger. When he come last season, still looked a little bit slight, but I can see the physicality starting to improve. Look, we know how good Callum McGregor is for Celtic and how influential he is. So that is a key battle.
You can't afford, from a Rangers point of view, to lose today. It's going to be really, really tough, but it would be 5 points. Listen, it's so early in the season, but clearly Rangers looking to... What do you think is going to happen?
Well, for me, the most important part for Rangers today is to be able to try and get through the first 25 minutes, Paul, because Celtic have been electrifying out of the blocks this season. They've put teams to the sword early in the first half. Rangers, to have any kind of chance in this match, need to manage the first 20 to 25 minutes of the match.
John, Celtic, perfect start to the league and to the cup as well, firing on all cylinders. Mattarelli's gone, but how are you feeling about the team with Paulo Bernardo in there?
Yeah, I think he was the obvious one to come in for Matt O'Reilly. There's no doubt for me that Engels, McGowan, Valle, Trusty, they will all be available to play today, whether he brings one on or two on, but the Celtic fans will get to see the new signings this afternoon. I think the problem Rangers have, for me, is that Celtic keep the ball so well. You know that they're going to dominate possession. It's actually Rangers nicking possession off Celtic and then keeping the ball themselves. I think in the last couple of derbies that we've seen Rangers work really hard, press high, winning the ball back and then not being able to keep it, giving it almost back to Celtic as soon as they get possession. And if you do that, and I think as well, Rangers, if they want to press high and go at Celtic in the first 15-20 minutes, I think that might just suit Celtic in terms of what they like on the counter-attack. They'll play the ball into McGregor, it'll go wide to Maeda. You cannot... Tavernier today cannot face up with Maeda. He's got to get close, he's got to try and get nicks of the ball. He cannot give him 15-20 yards of space to run at him because he'll show him a clean pair of heels. Maeda is quicker, he'll cut inside and he'll cause problems. Kyogo's record in this game is phenomenal, really, and Coon on the right hand side, we know he's got pace. So that's the problem Rangers have. No fans at Celtic Park, no support, if you like. And I think it's going to be a really long day for Rangers. I think I come in here most weeks, Paul, that I'm fairly honest in these games. I've said Rangers. Actually felt Rangers to win the league at times last season. But today, I've got to say, I am all over Celtic. Rangers got 4 new players, new signings playing in this game. Celtic have got experience, they've got momentum. They won 5 of these games last season out of 6. So I see it being a very long day for Rangers. If Celtic get an early goal, then I think the game could be, they could get plenty of goals after that.
And Craig, that's what they have done recently, isn't it? They have started at quite some pace. For Rangers, and looking at Celtic, what do you think? You mentioned Callum McGregor there. So for Rangers, you did say, what did they do in the first 15, 20 minutes?
Look, they need to be competitive. I think what we've seen, and the games have been relatively close. Big moments have definitely gone to Celtic. They've known how to get the job done, Paul. But I think what's happened with Rangers in these matches is they've actually put in that much work, that much effort to stop Celtic. They then haven't found that. How do you then go and affect and create and take opportunities within the match? It's been more about trying to stop Celtic, So Rangers, it's key for them to try and not only work out how they can, to stop Celtic getting into that rhythm and flow, but then how can you go and cause them problems? And that's going to be the test. I think Czerny's going to be an interesting one, Paul, today, because I think he's that creative kind of player that can score a goal, can deliver a pass. He's an interesting player. Will he get the time and space? Time will tell.
He scored against Celtic, of course, in the Europa League a few years ago. Listen, we're only 20 minutes away from kick-off. It must be some experience. Both of you have done it so many times. Great battles with each other. You're in great form today. You've got the sausage rolls are in. So you've been to McGee's.
Thanks.
That was John. That was John.
Craig didn't bring anything.
I got the Red Bull and
I thought you
Costa.
might have brought the cakes or the coffee.
Well, he's come to the East End for this one, John, hasn't he? Yes.
He wound up getting that fiver out of his wallet. Pulled off with it. There's cobwebs on it.
Who's going to get the bonus today? Is there still bonus for the players, or are they on so much money? Somebody asked that recently.
Oh, there'll be bonuses.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there'll be win bonuses put in everybody's contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
100%.
quick break. Don't go away. We've got more next.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go.
Go Radio Football Show. Paul Cooney, Craig Moore and John Hartson. It's the Old Firm Day here in Glasgow. The managers have been speaking to Sky there, Philippe Clement, a moment or two, about his team, which has got 4 debutants for an Old Firm game.
Yes.
They've obviously played before. None of the new signings. Actually, not many new signings came in over the last few days, Craig. We talked about Todd Cantwell, though, finally did go to Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, he did, and I think it was a situation where it's clearly worked for all parties. He didn't want to, be at the club any longer, so therefore it was important the club could get that business done. He's now down at Blackburn, so yeah, it allows the club and Philippe Clement to move forward with his team. But it's a huge test for Philippe Clement, because so far in his period at Rangers, he hasn't had the success he would have liked, especially in this particular game. Yet to win a match.
Yeah, you've got to have players, especially what the situation Rangers are right now. Todd Cantwell went publicly and said to his manager, I don't want to play for Rangers anymore. Absolutely suicide for Todd Cantwell in terms of you're out on your year. When you say that publicly, I don't know what to play. Then he says he doesn't want to be living in Glasgow anymore. Yeah. Well, what does he expect?
I know.
So for me, Craig's absolutely spot on when you say that. And Rangers right now, they want diehards, they want players who are going to battle, players with a bit of quality. That's his hope that he's brought in, and he wants players now to get with him on this ride. This new sort of, this new sort of feeling that Rangers have in terms of feel-good factor, bringing players in, integrating the players, going back to Ibrox very soon. He wants players on board.
Be a long time though before that really happens back at Ibrox, because that's going to be January, isn't it? Yeah, right at the beginning. What's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you who's in, Czerny, and he said, look, we know we're underdogs, but we're right up for this fight today.
I think the mindset should be that you want to win every single game. Doesn't matter what game it is, and it's okay with us. You can call us, I think, whatever you want. We just want to focus on what we are doing.
Here's the manager, Philippe Clement.
It's always very important, and for the fans, we know it's the game of the season. For us also, it's your biggest rival. It's 3 important points in the league. For perception also, because I think because of a lot of situations or a negative perception around the club with the stadium, elimination for the Champions League, all these things. And people forget sometimes also to see what is going on well. This is an exciting project, exciting squad also now to build on. It's not a finished article, and I know we're going to play against a team who has a lot of experience, who played a long time together. They will replace one player probably by a player who was there last season, so he trained with them, so they know everything together. And we are the young, exciting team who want to challenge that now. But I believe we also have the quality to challenge that and to go full for the 3 points.
Craig, your first Old Firm game at Celtic Park, what was it like? Although in those days you had, 8,000 Rangers fans there.
I prefer not to talk about my debut. Oh, right. No, you know what? Because it wasn't at Celtic Park, it was at Hampden.
Yep, of course.
It wasn't a good day for me, John. Own goal, we got beat 3-0. How do you recover from that?
I know,
but, Paul, you touch on, so there's 4 new players as we've touched on, one for Celtic. So the experience, for this match, you can't prepare somebody for this particular match. John, you go out there and it's just, it's a blur. It really is. But you look at characters and you go, Schmeichel's going to be able to handle the situation. His pedigree suggests that. And you start going through, a player like Czerny, for me, I just think that he's a good footballer. I don't know whether sometimes you watch a left-footed player, they always look nice on the eye. He comes in, he plays a really nice pass, he looks as he's got good delivery. I think he will do okay in this match. But again, you've got 3 or 4 new ones that come in, Paul. They need to be at their absolute best. Rangers need to be, as a group, at their absolute best, because the Celtic squad and the Rangers squad, if they both turn up, then Celtic are winning the game today.
John?
Well, yeah, and they got 4 new debutants the Rangers, and it's one of those, Paul, you either sink or you swim. You either embrace this game, show what a quality player you are in a really sort of hostile environment, which Celtic will be today with no fans, as I said before. And you've got to go and show your man that you can justify the fact that you're at Rangers. But it's very hard because, like myself, Paul, I never played in a game like this, and I struggled for the first 3 or 4 games against Rangers.
Did you? Yeah.
Then I made up for it, of course.
You did.
But in terms of, I played in the North London derby. I played Arsenal, Spurs. I played West Ham and a lot of London derbies as well. But there's nothing like this one in terms of the volume of noise, the passion between the 2 sets of fans. The need to be winning these games to appease the supporters, because this is a game for the fans.
Of course.
This is not for the players. These fans on both sides, they want to win these games. It's desperate, all right, until the next 3 months, until the next one comes around.
Can I mention?
But this game is all to do with the supporters.
11 minutes to go. John, what about Rio Hatate? So much has been said about Matt O'Reilly, but Hatate has been pivotal in some of the games against Rangers over his 2.5 years. What do you think he's going to be like today, and how key for Celtic?
Well, I think he'll have the freedom to go forward. There's no doubt about that. Bernardo scored in the game last season, especially at Celtic Park. He scored like a scissor kick, brilliant finish. McGregor, I think, will be as disciplined as ever. He'll try and get on the ball, try and control that centre midfield. But Hatate, for me, will be trying to get up and support Kyogo right through the middle, and he'll have a licence to go and do that. He won't really have to defensively, he'll try and get goal side now and again when he needs to. But in general, Hatate's the one, almost like a 10, getting in and around Kyogo.
I think that's the key thing today between the 2 midfields, right? Celtic link very well from defence through to the attack and third. Not so much Rangers, and I think that if Rangers think that they can go toe-to-toe today with Celtic, that could be a big down point for Rangers. I think that they've got to be smart. I think that they've got to try and at times maybe slow the game down. I don't think going toe-to-toe is going to be the answer for Rangers today.
Will they be looking out for? Well, they will be looking out for him. But Kyogo, is there a weakness there at the moment because of the shoulder, Craig? If you were playing against him the way you did against John,
but the game nowadays, obviously, the players are a lot more protected than John and I's day. So look, Kyogo again is one that has an incredible record in this particular match. He's very quick. He sniffs out danger. So concentration for Proper and in particular Suter, again, is going to be key to any kind of success Rangers can get today. Brendan
Rodgers said he loves these games.
As I said, I feel it always like my first game because I know what it means to everyone. I think that's, I understand the feeling, I understand the journeys. the heart of a Celtic supporter's story is Celtic Rangers. That's the heart of it. So I understand what it means, and but like I say, we'll go into it. We'll be ready for a tough game. It's the first of these games in the season, of which there'll be many, and we're really excited by it.
Celtic Rangers here on the Go Radio Football Show. We've got it on with Sky there. Tom and Willie have left the studio. I think Willie's away to the match, and Tom will be listening in the car.
You better worry up for the traffic.
Oh yeah, but hey, it's as you know, it's 5 minutes, John.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the big match. That's coming after this.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go!
There's just been a handshake between Philippe Clement and Celtic's new £11 million signing who's on the bench, Anders Engels. And why would that be, Craig? Because you know your stuff, the Belgians.
Yeah, no, they were obviously Engels was a slightly younger player, but in Belgium. But a wink would have done for me, Paul.
All right, you didn't like. Come on,
the palsy stuff before this big match, John.
Yeah. Could have waited till after the game.
John, it's quite a lot of money. Are you happy then with the Celtic transfer window in the last few days?
Yes, I think they've covered all areas really. You look at it, they've got a new goalkeeper in Schmeichel, trusty big centre back, and head on a stick will go and head it. Engels, record signing. McGowan, really good player. Valley, left back, maybe a cover for Taylor. So I think you said to me, Paul, the other night on the show, John, what do they need? And I said, I think they need quality players. You'll never know the quality until they get out there and prove it, by the way. You can pay as much money as you want for a player. If he doesn't push himself into the team and push whoever's in there out of the team, then you never really know. But for me, I think they've covered all areas. Some of the fans are saying they could have done with another winger, possibly. But I'm very happy with the window, I've got to say.
That's a strong squad. I think the key areas that they looked at, Celtic have actually filled. So, again, a manager or supporters, they always want to see one more, don't they?
Of course, yeah. Always. Stilian Petrov on the telly there, John, your old teammate. What a brilliant guy, isn't he? And
Brilliant
everyone
guy.
behind him, legend at Celtic and at Aston Villa. And both teams will be playing in the Champions League, which we talked about just the other day. But he was some player, wasn't he? And his comeback, John, a bit like you as well.
Brilliant.
Afflicted by cancer and
a real fighter.
back.
Trained like he played every single day. What an attitude he had. Really powerful runner, goal scorer as well from midfield. And again, Paul, he's come through his personal battle. He's flying now. It's great to see him looking healthy on the television. Great friend of mine, Stilian, and what a guy he is.
Greg, we're seeing the shots of the Celtic fans, and obviously only the Celtic fans, because we're not going to go on about it, but what a shame. Get this fixture back,
Absolutely.
both of you, both teams, to get, I think, 5,000-6,000. Come on. We're better than that, surely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that is definitely the way forward. Hopefully that's going to be in play very, very soon. But at the moment, some of the shots that we're getting through, obviously you're seeing all the Celtic supporters, they're excited for what hopefully is going to be a great match, Paul.
Sorry, Paul. I went on a podcast last week with Clive Tilsley and Martin O'Neill, and Martin was all about getting the supporters back in. He couldn't believe that this has actually gone on for a number of years, and he was like, got to get the supporters back in the stadiums. The away supporters.
I agree. It's absolutely got to happen. Right, Craig, we said earlier on what you think would happen. Few people expect Rangers to come out and win today, and I know it's Celtic Rangers Celtic, and people say, anything could happen. Does that take some of the pressure off Rangers in that nobody really thinks that they are going to win today? Not many people.
No, but again, like this game, obviously, what's at stake and what it means to the supporters, I think is pressure in itself, especially on the manager who hasn't had success in this match so far, and obviously to his playing group. That for me, Rangers' best chance of being able to get something today, Paul, is managing the first 20-25 minutes without conceding. That will give them the best opportunity to go and get something in the match. If Celtic score in that earlier period, then it could be, as John said earlier on in the show, a long, long afternoon.
What's your scoreline? What do you think it's going to be? You're a Rangers legend, I get it, but you're on here, you both give honest opinions. What do you think today?
I think that this could... And probably my heart a little bit, I hope a draw is the best result for Rangers.
And draw would be a good result for Rangers today, wouldn't it?
Would be a good one.
They're in the tunnel, John. So your scoreline, what do you reckon as they are led out by the captains?
Well, I think Celtic will have to work really hard if they want to win the game. I think the big money is on Celtic in terms of being favourites. But, talking about the Rangers players, some Rangers fans, you have to believe you're going to win the game. From a Rangers point of view, them new players have to turn up and think, I'm not bothered about McGregor. I couldn't care less about Hitati or Kyogo, what his recent record is like. I'm going to be better than him today. I'm going to make sure I'm going to win for my team. Irrespective of whether that happens, Paul, that's the mindset you have to have going into any game. Celtic, if they get playing and they keep the ball most of the time, I think they will dominate possession. And then obviously with the players, they have the pace they have out wide. In Maeda and Kuhn, and they have a fantastic goal scorer. So I can see Celtic. I think they're stronger on the pitch. I think they are better players than Rangers right now, and I can't see Celtic losing this game.
Sorry, Paul, just really, really quickly, a simple way to summarise this game. And your personal battles, if you can win your personal battle, look to your left, look to your right, and they're winning theirs, and you start getting more people winning their personal battles, you're going to win the game.
Gary's producing here today, so he's keeping us up to date with all the things happening off it. We can see this is going to the world, and let's hope we get a great game today. We'd love the Rangers fans to be in. The Green Brigade, often they have to move away from what they say, but today it says our dear Green Place, the patron saint of Glasgow there, Mungo. So let's hope this is a great advert for Glasgow today as we get ready for the derby, the Glasgow derby, the Old Firm derby. Guy are just playing the music, Craig, so you can feel free to.
I can't hear it.
A great anthem there. Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's showing you round. This is
you
a
never
great
get tired of
show.
listening to this, Paul.
You love it.
You never get it. When you're playing in it as well, you're lining up. You can't help but look around and see all the flags. It's the same at Ibrox as well. They create an unbelievable atmosphere before games, but this is something that goes all over the world, Paul. All the Celtic fans in pubs and clubs, whatever they are now. Amazing.
By the way, 10:30 p.m. in Australia as well.
Of course, there'll be.
The pub you're not over there. The pubs will be full.
Heaving.
That's right. The Rangers supporters will be watching there. The Celtic fans as well, right round the world.
All over the world.
Yeah. So Celtic in the huddle. Rangers at this point, what are you thinking, Craig? You're just trying to forget the noise.
Me as a defender, I'm thinking first contact.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a ball or a player.
Yeah.
Rangers done the 10 men after 5 minutes.
Referee today, of course, John Beaton. Let's hope we're not saying too much about that. The linesmen, Daniel McFarlane and Jonathan Bell. On VAR, Andrew Dallas, assisted by Graham Stewart. And John, the game's underway. Who got the kick-off?
Yeah, Celtic got the kick-off. Carter Vickers there just clearing. Rangers trying to get on the front foot, playing it forward.
Yep, so it's going to be some afternoon of football as Rangers get the first free kick. About, 35 yards out, Craig? So
Diamande, a bit of a shirt tug there. I think it was a foul. First free kick of the match, coming into 30 seconds. Czerny looks as if he's on the ball, so we'll probably look at a stock standard delivery into the box and see if he can test the Celtic defence.
Yep, Czerny over the ball alongside James Tavernier. Has got the hand over the mouth as they do these days. I don't know too many lip readers anyway. I don't know what's the.
This is what you want,
it's proper.
Paul, early for Rangers to put the ball right into the heart of the Celtic defence.
Yeah. Early chance for Rangers. Left-footed, swept into the box. It's a good ball. Good chance there, just over. Gone out for a throw in. Craig, that was an opportunity for Proper.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether if it is Proper, but a great ball in for Czerny. Headed ball straight across. But
that's
first real kind of chance. Put it back in danger area.
He's got a free header and he heads it over the bar where he should be heading it right across the Celtic 6-yard box, if you like. But that's an early chance for Rangers.
And that's exactly what Philippe Clement would be looking for. Brendan Rodgers, it's the opposite, John. He's looking for Celtic to get the press immediately, which they've done in all 3 games so far, 4 if you include the cup game.
Absolutely, and so as I said, Celtic, they're known for passing the ball. They've got great passers in the middle of the park. Good players that can manipulate the ball really, really well. But in the first minute, Czerny whips in the ball. Proper with the header, should have done better.
John, do you want a cup of tea? Craig, do you want anything? Cup of tea, would that be okay? Yeah. Builder's tea for John, a little bit of milk. What about you, Craig? No, you're okay.
I've got
You're
wings.
on there.
I've got Red Bull.
Here comes Celtic. It's Hatate, but it's actually intercepted by Tavernier. Rangers started well. 2 minutes gone. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. The ball's played forward. It's going to go for a goal kick. Kasper Schmeichel getting his first real touch there, John. In fact, I mean, the thing is, he's actually hardly had to make a save since he came, and he's only lost one goal, which was in the Cup.
That's
against Hibs. Hasn't lost a goal in the league. 9-4, none against. Match day 4 in the William Hill Premiership.
Yeah, but that's when goalkeepers have to concentrate, because they're not in the game an awful lot with Celtic and Rangers, because they keep possession so well, Paul. But every now and again they'll be caught on the counter, and that's when the goalkeeper's got to be fully concentrated.
Aberdeen got that late goal, the 97th minute. Kevin Nisbet. What? I mean, you felt for Ross County, they missed a penalty, or rather Mitov had a great save. Motherwell, another win for the Well against St Johnstone, 2-1, and Dundee and St Mirren 2-2. Dundee lost their captain Luke McCown. He's on the bench for Celtic as Celtic now try to come forward. And John, there's going to be referee. There's a challenge there, Barron.
Yeah, it's a strong challenge, but nothing that you wouldn't
Kyogo.
expect in a derby. Good tackle from Barron. He wins the ball. Kyogo goes over, and for me, that's a really good tackle. John, the referee, has been sucked in there, and he's given a free kick to Celtic. But Barron, good tackle, won the ball.
Craig, Rangers have started
off very well. Yeah, they've asked Celtic a few questions. A stray pass out for a throw-in from Carter Vickers. We're now just seeing the first real opportunity or possession for Celtic as they're driving into Rangers half.
Callum McGregor, but he was tackled there, wasn't he? Who's on him today, Craig? Is it, as you mentioned, it's probably going to be Sterling?
I think it's actually going to be Diamandi because I think he's a little bit further forward, Paul.
Yep. As Celtic come forward, play the ball through to Hatate, shoots from 30 yards out, but John, that was
very ambitious.
Yeah, 15 yards
30
wide.
yards out. He was almost leaning backwards. I don't know why then he doesn't have to go back wide to Kuhn, but obviously he fancied it, and there's wide of Butland's goal. But as I said, he's 30 yards out.
Yeah.
It's it was very, very optimistic.
You're very diplomatic, John. I like it. Almost like a politician there. It's very ambitious. That means no chance with that one. 0-0, 4 minutes, 20 seconds gone. We're watching it on Sky. We're here in the Go Radio Football Studios. John Hartson and Craig Moore, best in the business. So, yeah, just looking.
You're just saying, you're winking at me and smiling when you're saying best.
I didn't wink. I just looked at you, and that was. As Rangers now trying to build something down the right. James Tavernier.
A lot of space there in the middle of the park.
Huge amount of space. The ball played out to the right. Chance for Rangers down the right.
Sterling in possession, but again, Rangers got out quite easily. Celtic did try to press. Tavernier just dinks the ball into midfield, and Sterling finds himself in a lot of space. Not a corner, throw in deep into Celtic's half.
Sterling's a unit, isn't he?
He's a competitor as well, Paul. He's very, very honest, and I think he gives you that physicality.
John, 5 minutes gone, so not much in it so far, but Rangers have looked. They're right up for it.
They've looked brave, Paul. They've got on the ball. Both teams have had a little bit of possession. I'd say Rangers probably a little bit more, but there's not been any real action other than the proper the player. Not quite getting the proper header on the ball, but I knew I'd get that one out today.
Ball's played back to Kasper Schmeichel. He plays out to Carter Vickers. Bernardo just slipped there, so it's Rangers again with the ball out to Tavernier. Forward chance for Dezers. Good chance for Dezers.
Right. He looked a bit offside, but I tell you what, he looks offside. Offside, I think, was the call, Paul. Tavernier nicks the ball, drives. Dezers gets on shoulders,
offside,
but he was offside after a slip in the build-up for Celtic. But Dezers had that chance, he doesn't know he's offside, and it's close.
Scales comes across and just gets a little touch there, and he deflects it into Schmeichel's arms, but offside anyway, irrespective of what happened there.
Because it looked like a real chance. Yeah, it's offside, but he didn't know it.
John, being a striker, yes, it was offside, but see, you don't know at that time. You still want to finish that.
Of course you do, absolutely. If you don't know you're offside for you, then that's a chance. That's a big chance for you, but then
comes inside, doesn't he? Comes inside, gets a shot off, but no real power on the shot.
I thought Scales come across well, and even if he doesn't quite get a big touch, I think Dessa sees him in his eye line, maybe. Scales.
Go Radio Football Show, Paul Cooney, John Hartson and Craig Moore. 6 minutes 55 seconds gone in the derby. Rangers coming forward again. Down the right is Czerny, who's looked good early on, played it to Tavernier. It's as if they've said they've heard all the noise and Rangers are coming here with a real purpose. And they're going at Celtic at the moment.
Yeah, they are going. John mentioned that Rangers will probably try and press Celtic, and so far in the first 7-8 minutes, Rangers have managed to do that quite well and had quite a bit of joy. But as we're speaking, transition, Maeda now driving at Suter.
So Dyson Maeda, edge of the box. Rangers got people back in numbers. He's got Atati next to him. John?
Sorry, Paul, Celtic haven't got started yet, but this is Taylor down the left-hand side. Oh, I think Coon there. Coon's got to get himself in an area where he gets across the Rangers centre-back and he's got to tap in then. Coon can't stay wide when Taylor's down the other side, putting the ball in the box.
That's the concern. Celtic haven't really had anything. The first real meaningful attack, it's a great ball, I've got to say. Hear what you're saying, John, about Coon. But I think if you'll see the replay again, if Maeda busts his gut to get in, he's got a 6-yard tap in.
Yeah.
Is that Jefty who cleared it?
Remember Abada? Abada was brilliant at that.
Remember.
When the ball was the other side, Abada would be inside the opposition's full back and make sure that he was, he was anticipating being inside, ready for the cross.
John, he broke Barry's heart, and Barry was on with us, with you, and he scored twice, remember, in the February on Barry's birthday, Craig. But there's no scoring at the moment. Rangers have started well. You saw the threat of Celtic there a moment or two.
A big threat. Like I says, Taylor gets in. I've just seen the replay here. Gets an overlap. Oh, and I tell you, that's what I'm saying. Maeda, if he busts a gut, he gets a 8-yard tap in. And again, that was the first meaningful attack for Celtic, but it should have ended up in a goal. And that's my concern in terms of Rangers start well, but Celtic are so dangerous on the counter.
The Glasgow derby yesterday, the other one finished 3-0 to the home side. Partick Thistle 3, Queen's Park 0. John, you would take that one today, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course you would, I'm sure Craig would as well. Craig will take a draw, actually.
I definitely would today.
You need to win, though, didn't you?
Aberdeen left it late in the derby up there. So the away team got a 1-0 victory, 97th minute.
Yeah, no,
you'd go for that one, wouldn't you?
And that was Nisbet's debut then?
Yes. Phil. Yeah, I think so.
How many times do you see that as well? Strikers or new players going to a club and manage to get on the score sheet. I don't think Rangers fans would be delighted with Scott Wright.
That's exactly
what scores a winner. 90 plus 6 as well, I think, against.
Ball into the box, great chance for Rangers. The ball past the post, Craig.
Matondo's got to score. He's got to score. He gets in a really good position. Oh, he might even actually be offside as well. Comes inside. Johnston, I think, gets a header off target. You've got to be hitting the target as a minimum.
John?
Oh, it's a brilliant chance. Yeah. Brilliant chance from Matondo. He gets in between two defenders. Brilliant ball in from Tavernier. And he's got to score.
Here comes Celtic on the break. McGregor plays it through. What's a ball through to Bernardo? Who's got with him? He's got Kyogo. Kyogo must be goal Celtic.
I think that might be offside. Is it offside? Or it was very close? But if not, perfect again. Rangers just picked off. Callum McGregor drives, ball in behind them. We're looking there, John, saying he's got to play it earlier. Kuhn takes an extra touch, gets it across. Kyogo does what Kyogo does.
Celtic haven't been in the game, Paul. One little chance there from Taylor across the box. Haven't been in the game. 10 minutes. Best counter-attacking team in the country. They break. Brilliant from McGregor.
He might be offside.
It's close. Very close.
Let's see.
No, he's onside with the finish. Kyogo's definitely onside.
Sure.
Yeah. For the finish, I was thinking.
It's the start of the move, isn't it? Yep. Craig is praying. So too is John.
Absolutely.
That's a brilliant ball from Coon.
Isn't it?
Really well-weighted ball. It's just a case of whether Coon's offside when McGregor puts him through, or he might have timed his run to perfection. Kyogo, brilliant finish with his left foot. Allows it to come past his body and taps it in. Just still looking. Is it offside? A VAR to look at it, Craig?
Just checking.
Yeah,
you can listen.
I've not. It doesn't seem to be, but you're right there, John. Again, it's good play from Celtic, but it's far too easy. When you defend that high, the space needs to be protected a lot better.
Still looking at it.
I think it might be Kuhn if the offside call is it's on Coon, certainly not Kyogo for the finish.
So John Beaton is trying to hear. There's such a din, as you can imagine. 60,000 Celtic. Oh, he's going to look at the VAR, which... What's he saying?
It's offside. It must be
Yeah, he's not even looking at the VAR. It's offside. Let's see it again. They've drawn the line.
Offside.
So, yep. Is it the ball from McGregor?
Oh, it's a tight one, but
Yep.
you can see the
Sure.
lines have been put up, so
Yep.
it's black and white there. Yeah, he just sort of edged offside. Correct decision.
I got a chance to be a linesman, Paul.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Yeah,
have you
good
played
call.
this game?
I was like that as well. Please, please,
Sure.
please.
John thought you were just on a prayer there. It's such fine margins. So it's 0-0. Strike that one off. But you see the way Celtic, the counter press is phenomenal, isn't it? The way they attack John.
That's a warning
Yeah,
for
sure.
Rangers.
Yeah.
They can't throw too many people forward, otherwise they just simply can't get back, especially with Celtic's pace. Maeda and Coon, you saw the way they scored there. If Coon just times his run, if he doesn't go too early, it would have gone down as a brilliant goal.
And that's what we're talking about, Paul. See, that transition and my concern going toe-to-toe, which means your defenders are playing nice and high.
Yeah.
But Celtic have got the edge in terms of that pace factor, and transition there was a perfect example, executed slightly better than Rangers are chasing their tail. Kyogo,
Oof, ball
With a
forward
forward
there
run.
for
But
Kyogo.
Coon
Straight back to
shouldn't
Butland.
really be offside there because he's
Why?
looking right across the pitch.
So how can he be?
No, because he's looking
Sure.
along the defensive
Yeah,
line, if you
yeah,
like, the back line.
Yep.
He's clever enough and quick enough to time his run better than that. He doesn't have to edge offside, Paul, because he's looking right the way across.
Is that where James Forrest would have used the head? I know
Well,
you
possibly
yeah,
with his
sure.
experience.
Yep.
But Coon, because of his pace, he's quicker. He's quicker than Jeff T anyway, so he doesn't have to be offside.
and Jeff Day also, John. Jeff Day's square, but facing the other way.
Yeah, rather than being side on.
So he's really got a lot of opportunity to get in there
agree
without
he
being
shouldn't
offside.
really be offside,
Shouldn't
should
be,
he, Craig?
not when you look across the whole
Celtic
line.
0, Rangers 0. Rangers trying to play out from the back. Jack Butland there, who of course came just over a year ago to Rangers, much loved by the Rangers fans and much respected right across the country. Should have had caps for England in the summer, but he wasn't chosen for the Euros, as Rangers now trying to build something. Tavernier just playing it, trying to take the sting out of it. It's actually been a great first 14 minutes, hasn't it?
And it actually has been a
it
good
has.
game. It's been nice and competitive. There have been a few tackles and challenges in the middle of the park, which you'd
Yeah.
expect, but nothing crazy. And both teams have had opportunities within the match. Celtic with a disallowed goal for offside.
Yep. In 11 minutes, Kyogo, who did it so many times last season, John, as you well remember, not least this game last year at Ibrox when he shocked the 52,000 Rangers fans. 60,000 Celtic fans here today. Is it in the sunshine? Yeah, no, it's not a perfect day for football though, isn't it, John? Games like
brilliant.
this.
There's a little bit of zip to
Yeah.
the play, a little bit of dew on top of the grass.
So Craig, Rangers now just has slowed down.
Yes.
At 15 minutes in, they're just knocking the ball about at the back. We're watching it on Sky here on the Go Radio Football Show as Rangers now try to come forward. That long ball that they favour, but it's headed down Carter Vickers to Scales. Scales plays it forward to McGregor. McGregor does well, played it too far and may have been tripped as well. It's going to be free kick.
Tavernier on McGregor. Nothing sinister.
No, he got there as quick as he could.
Just John Beaton saw the foul.
That's taken quickly. You never say that to the ref.
Brilliant.
I love the old one about keepers. He goes down in installments. You'll be
I
hoping
love that
Butland nor Schmeichel do.
You were talking about Butland, about the England.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Pickford's form's been bang average.
I know. A couple
recently,
of
I
howlers.
wouldn't be
yeah.
So you get 3 goals again away yesterday for them.
Yeah. Two up as well.
Oh,
You felt for Sean Dyche,
unbelievable.
if that's possible. Yeah. No, I think you did. No, I do feel for him. As Celtic coming forward now, down the right. Long ball.
Oh,
played
by the way,
into the box.
proper
Goal for Celtic.
No,
Maeda. Yep, Celtic have scored.
This is definitely not offside.
Oh, definitely not.
John, that came out of nothing.
Nothing, but that's what Celtic do to you, Paul. You think you're on top, you think you're creating chances, and then bang, Celtic hit you like a ton of bricks.
By the way, I've seen this pattern of play. We'll see the build up again in terms of down the right hand side. Forward run that's not matched. It's a great forward run for Celtic. Byline, cross. I think proper slips here as well. Yeah, he slips. Maeda in the position. He's inside that second post and a good finish to put Celtic 1-0 up. But again, the forward run from Alistair Johnston was not matched And that was a killer for Rangers.
And Bernardo, the perfectly weighted pass.
Yeah.
And Johnson actually sticks with it because you think it's maybe going out to play. And he gets in a really difficult cross, plays it back outside the 6-yard area, and Maeda again arriving onto the ball, makes no mistake, and now puts Celtic 1-0 up.
Man who scored in the World Cup for Japan almost 2 years ago scores again in the derby, which he did last season.
And that's what I'm talking about, Maeda being inside the full back there, what Kuhn should learn from the other side. Maeda is fantastic at that, because you can't do nothing if you stay out wide. You've got to try and affect the game and get inside that full back, which Maeda's brilliant at.
Well, the wingers now, John, that is really key. When the ball's on the opposite side, they're not a winger, they're a second striker.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
You've got to come inside that full back.
You can't take your eyes and your ears off this one. 16 minutes exactly. Maeda, the cross from Bernardo. There was a slip for Proper, and there was the Japanese international to put the ball past Jack Butland, and Celtic come forward again trying to get goal number 2. Rangers came close early on as well. Dezers had a terrific chance, although he was just offside. Up over the halfway line, referee John Beaton says play on, as Czerny.
Celtic got good numbers back, and look
who's back. Yeah.
Maeda.
There's actually a foul on Diamandi there as well, but John Beaton did the right thing. Rangers were in possession. He let the advantage go, and unfortunately
Diamandi, John, you like him?
Yeah, he's playing in a bit of a more forward area today, looking to get closer to Dessers. See his position where he is now, Craig. He's not too deep, is he?
No, his duel is McGregor, isn't it? Really trying to, stop him. But again, it's when the ball breaks down in terms of what happens. First yellow card of the match.
Jefty.
Yeah,
and he said it's the third time. It was just a push there, wasn't it?
It wasn't so much for the
Kuhn.
contact. I think it was more that Kuhn was then away into a dangerous position for Celtic, into the space. Yellow card, which 18 minutes into an Old Firm match for a defender, John.
I know.
Not great.
Got sent off.
Well, exactly, in Europe. I mean, it did cost them. I know you thought it was a bit naive. They should have taken him off.
With that tackle, 15 years ago, you get away with it.
I know.
You got no chance of getting the yellow card.
I think he said, John, there's 3 times. Maybe
but
I didn't see it.
In today's game, that's persistent fouling. That's what he's given that for today, that yellow card. But listen, the way the game's gone, the modern day, you can't make tackles like that because you're in the book. Jeffy should know that.
Sure. Let's hope we get 11 against 11.
I'm just thinking of the goal as well. Like it says, Celtic, brilliant combination played down there, right hand side. Proper slips. Suter kind of doesn't really react. And then also Tavernier. They're all expecting the one in front of them to be able to deal with it. In the end, Maeda takes up a good position, and Celtic were ruthless.
John, Celtic early on, not brilliant at the back. They weren't getting much, but as soon as it went into the midfield, the way they break so quickly and so effectively.
They counter-attack, Paul. I'll tell you who's done well today for me is Bernardo. He plays that ball into Alistair Johnson, and he wins a lot of tackles. He gets goal side, and he can play. He can pick the right passes out. He's a good size. He's physical. But Celtic were almost trying to ease themselves in the game. Rangers started better, but as Craig mentioned earlier on, it's whoever gets that first goal. It gives you that little bit of confidence to your players. Everybody now wants to get involved. All the Celtic players want a touch of the ball because they're 1-0 up and they're all confident now.
No stranger to a yellow card in the Old Firm game. It's Alistair Johnson off the ball there with Matondo.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a body check. Oh, what's happening there? But also Diamandi for Rangers, I believe. Yeah. And maybe has Alex Ray been booked from the bench as well? I'm not sure.
Yep. I think
it's all happening in the last couple of minutes. But definitely we know that Johnston did pick up a yellow card for a body check. I think Diamandi also.
You sure? Yeah, we think. No, I'm sorry. Just when I saw the cameras there on
Alex Ray.
1-0 Celtic, 21 minutes gone. As Celtic now come forward. Kyogo's beaten there by Suter. Ball through to Maeda. Maeda doesn't give up though. It goes for a corner kick.
It's not a penalty.
No, the Celtic fans
for a penalty. Sure. Tavernier does manage to get back in well again.
He gets the ball. Clearly Tavernier kicks it out for the corner. He just wants the direction of the ball here. There.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Tavernier and Maeda.
Again, poor clearance from that. Starts from a poor clearance from Suter, and Celtic are then bang straight in behind
from
Rangers
a Rangers
defence.
point of view, and they've got to be better when they're passing out from the back because Celtic They close you down so well with pace, Craig. So they got to handle that side of the game better.
This guy,
So as the corner's coming in for Celtic, Bernardo,
right-footed into the 6-yard line, headed away. Greg.
Yeah, the problem is, I think, like it says, Rangers, when you go toe-to-toe, so they're a lot further forward, but it just leaves a lot of grass, a lot of space for Celtic to exploit in behind, and they're already showing real signs of doing that. I know that you don't like to see your team sit deep, but I think that you protect that space a lot better, and I don't think Suter and Proper are quick enough to deal with it.
Here comes Celtic again. McGregor tries to play it in, wins a corner, another corner.
Very similar to where the goal come from. McGregor's made a run down that right-hand side. He's almost on Rangers' goal line, tries to cut it back this time. Rangers defend it, and it's another corner.
Midway through the first half, exactly, it's 1-0 Celtic. Is that Matondo's going down? So I think this might be the end for him.
Holding his hamstring, which is not a great sign. He was obviously a lot of transfer speculation.
Yeah, that's right.
Pre-window stuff.
England,
yeah, he stayed. So we're seeing now, it looks like Lawrence is getting himself warmed up and may be called into action a lot earlier than anticipated.
Welshman for a Welshman.
Absolutely. Oh, well done. Yeah. Lawrence might have expected to start today, John.
Well, possibly, but he went with Diomande, Barron and Sterling. At this moment in time, does Lawrence get in there before you? Does he get in that side?
I think because they've gone like more a flat 3 in their midfield today. So when they play a clear 10, Lawrence...
It's McCausland.
McCausland,
Yep, the Northern Ireland International is coming on. I thought it might be him.
But you're right. No, because winger for winger.
Yeah, for that role. Given
maybe
that it's Matondo.
Cherry will swap where Matondo was, and McCausland coming over playing the right hand side where he normally plays. McCausland.
He normally does. Yeah.
So maybe he might just go over to the right and swap with Cherney on the other side.
Corner kick taken quickly. Bernardo involved there. Plays it in to Callum McGregor. McGregor to Rio Hatate. 35, 40 yards out now, going back towards the halfway line to try and build again. Celtic coming down the right. Bernardo playing it for Nicholas Kuhn, but he's got Conor Barron there, the former Aberdeen man, but he loses. Conor Barron loses out. Here's Kuhn. Kuhn left-footed, looks up. Who's he got? He's got Maeda there, but it's straight into the arms of Jack Butland. 24 minutes gone. It's 1-0 Celtic. You can't take your eyes or ears off this game. Matondo's back up, John. John, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, well, obviously he's holding his hamstring, but he's clearly had a little jog there and feels okay to carry on. But I thought Rangers started the game well, Paul. They looked very bright, but Craig, I don't know about you, in the last 6 or 7 minutes, Celtic have just taken over in terms of possession
and experience, John. You just feel as if like now the experience, the playing the game, and something that they have done well before. Again, I'm kind of fuming a little bit with the first goal because the pattern of play that Celtic do over and over and over again, and you watch previous goals against Rangers, that pattern has caught Rangers out I don't know how many times, and I'm thinking surely you can't keep repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah, well, it's Philippe Clement, isn't it? He watches the game, he watched them over, and he looks at Celtic's shape when he says, how can we affect that? How can we stop Celtic? And then you all of a sudden, from a Rangers point of view, you have to tell your players or put your players out there in terms of a shape, to stop that. Surely that's got to be the manager's job, isn't it?
Here come Rangers down the right. Ball's played through. Won a corner. So chance for Rangers to level. Good play by Liam Scales, who knows he's got Trusty, the former Sheffield United defender, on the bench. Celtic have got all the newcomers there.
The problem with doing that then, though, Craig, Philippe Clement is thinking of just stopping Celtic rather than having Rangers doing what they want to do to affect games.
Yeah.
You can't just go into a game to stop the opposition. You've got to have a threat yourself.
Absolutely.
Corner for Rangers. Is that Cherney who's there? Dezza's up there. He's got Alistair Johnson on him. So too is Matondo. Maeda's back there. Kasper Schmeichel just on his toes. Just when it's going to be left-footed, far side at the Rangers end. Plays it in. It's headed away.
Good header by Scales,
wasn't it?
Good
he
header.
Did well. Yeah. I guess when you know there's somebody there who's looking for your jersey, keeps you on your toes. You're always kept on your toes at Celtic.
I feel supporters have just been a little bit wrangled with Scales. I think he's done very well, Liam Scales, since he's come in. Still fairly young, fairly inexperienced, but I think he's done well. Done himself a lot of credit.
Here comes Celtic forward, down the left. Good chance. Great play.
I was waiting for contact there.
But look, Rangers are slow there. It's fallen now for Hatate. Hatate looks up, looking for options. He's got Kyogo there, plays it back to McGregor. McGregor to Bernardo. Bernardo, who's he got on the left? Greg Taylor. He's right-footed, looking up, plays it to Reo Hatate. Hatate, good ball through to Taylor for the byline. He's going to win a corner. John, Celtic pressure.
Yeah, more pressure from Celtic. They're just popping it around on the edge of the box, just waiting for a third man runner. And they've got in down the left-hand side. Cherney actually does well to cover and get back and defend. Out for another corner. Bernardo on the left-hand side.
27 minutes gone. Carter Vickers is up there, the former Tottenham man, the US international. Huge favourite with the Celtic fans. He was injured a bit last season, but he's back and could play a huge role here today. It's going to be right-footed taken. Paulo Bernardo plays into the box, headed away. I think John Suter. Down to Cherney. Goes out of play. It's going to be a throw in, Craig. So 25 yards out.
John touched on third man runs. That's what led to the goal. That's what led to the corner there for Celtic. Celtic are very good at making forward runs. And at the moment, Rangers aren't defending that properly. And that's causing them real problems and giving Celtic control in this match.
Craig Moore and John Hartson here on the Go Radio Football Show as the ball's played back. Liam Scales did well there, didn't he? Plays it to CCV, we've got Anders Engels, the £11 million signing on the bench. So to Luke McCowan, boyhood Celtic fan, didn't realise that.
Very good player, Paul.
Good player, isn't he?
Very
great
good
for
player.
Dundee.
Done a great job at Dundee.
Dundee did well to equalise and get a draw yesterday because he was their captain. As Celtic now come forward, Kyogo, he's got space, plays it out to the right to Nicholas Kuhn. Kuhn looking up, who's with him? Jefty is there. Kuhn tries to slide it through, but doesn't manage. It's comes though to Alistair Johnson. Johnson playing back the way, back to goal. Plays it to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers back to Alistair Johnson.
This is too easy at the moment for Celtic. Rangers
too much space.
Too much space. They're 5-10 metres off it.
As the ball comes into the box, looking for Kyogo.
Goes for a corner, but at the start of that whole passage, Kyogo comes and drops in a deep area. He gets on the half turn. Rangers' central defenders are 10 metres behind. They're that far off it, and then that just went on that whole passage of play where every single Rangers player was 5-10 metres off it. Celtic with another corner.
It's going to be taken again by Paulo Bernardo. Huge season for him. Matt O'Reilly left for 25 million last week. It's not a direct replacement. There's Engels coming in as well, who probably is, but it's Bernardo, right-footed, near post header. No, it's still in play. So the header from Scales, I think, had come forward. Kyogo out on the left, but Kyogo, a poor ball.
Sloppy,
but look
good
at
word.
the reaction. Look at the reaction. They nearly get some joy at the end of it. I think it was Maeda from the corner that maybe gets the glancing header that goes across to the far post. Kyogo then got on the end of it.
Yeah, it's not a word that you normally affiliate with Kyogo, sloppy, because it's normally really, really sharp. But he had two opportunities then to keep possession, and he gave it away twice, which is unlike Kyogo.
The blonde locks got me there. You know that?
Yeah. You two can't stop laughing. You've got a bit of a loving going on today, you two.
And I said, oh, John, what's happened? You're one up.
Mate, I've got no love when I'm watching the Rangers at 1-0 down.
Dye his hair, you know.
Oh, dye his hair. To be fair.
No, I got the wrong one, John. That was what it was. I thought it was Scales. So that was actually, it was a nice way of him saying, no, it's actually Kyogo. As Celtic come forward again, they're one up, 30 minutes gone. It's cleared there by the captain, James Tavernier. Many people thought he was going to leave, but he stayed. He didn't go to Saudi and he's captaining Rangers, and he knows he needs to get a win or come away without. A point would be a huge one for Rangers today, no question. There's only one goal in it though, and Rangers started really well in the first 10 minutes, but Celtic's class is showing. James Tavernier there down on the main stand side, just 25 yards from Jack Butland's goal line, as he's looking for options. Plays it down the right, does come to the head of Liam Scales. That's a Rangers head.
I think talking about Tavernier, Paul, I think maybe Rangers, I don't know what Craig thinks, but Tavernier, yes, record, not as many trophies as you'd want as a Rangers captain. Maybe that's got to do with Celtic's dominance over the last 10, 12 years. But I think if Philippe Clement could have seen a better right back, you might well have seen, that Tavernier out the window. But obviously they haven't found one, and they've kept Tavernier there.
Money has been a huge issue. It's been difficult for Rangers in the window, but they did make a couple of late signings as a couple of players left. not least Scott Wright, who scored that winner yesterday for the Blues of Birmingham. Isn't that amazing, John?
It's typical.
Seems to happen a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. He played a few times, as we know, in the Old Firm last.
I quite liked him. I thought he was big, powerful. He used to go forward, didn't he, every opportunity?
Just didn't do it consistently enough, did he, John? As Rangers now come forward up over the halfway line, it's Czerny. He's got Maida on him. Czerny, left-footed, then to the right. He's looking up. He's still got Maida on him, and he just plays it back to his captain, James Tavernier. Tavernier to John Souttar, the former Hearts and Scotland star. He plays it to Tavernier down the right. Craig Moore.
Yeah, I'm just again, but you look at when Rangers are having a little spell and all that sort of stuff. In terms of, I like Barron. Barron, he's a great competitor, but I still don't think he has that experience yet to be able to control a game from the middle of the park. You look at the difference between him and Callum McGregor and the control. And it then enables you to play those good forward passes. At the moment, Rangers need to try and hang in this match and get to halftime without any conceding any more goals to regroup, because I think that Celtic are in a bit of a rhythm now, doing what they want when they want.
Yeah, John, good assessment. Celtic would want to go and press to get another one before the break.
They certainly would, because at 1-0, even 2-0, if the opposition get back in it. But certainly, I think in an ideal world, Celtic would love to go in at 2-0 and just give them that little bit of cushion, going into the second half.
Of course, Philip Camon yet to have a win against Celtic. They got a draw, the late goal from Matondo, wasn't it, last season at Ibrox, as Celtic now trying to play it, but it's a slack pass. Here comes Rangers. Dezers, 25 yards out. Dezers plays it to Matondo. Matondo not quick enough there, and it's cleared, but there's nobody down that left flank for Celtic.
I think he pulled the trigger. Dezers.
Yeah, I think it was Bernardo then, wasn't it? And Kyogo. Kyogo came short. Bernardo thinking he was going to come short and then spin and go long, and he ends up giving the ball away.
Yeah, there was a chance there, wasn't there, Craig?
Yeah, just a bit of a misunderstanding, that's all.
Dessa's edge of the box, he's probably been a little bit too honest, and he's tried to play Matondo in, but he's 18, 20 yards out on his left foot. Buy a ticket, son.
As here he comes, Dezers then, just outside the box. He's got CCV with him. As CCV wins that one, it's played to Greg Taylor. It's cleared to Bernardo. Bernardo forward for Nicholas Kuhn, but too much on it. It's going to be a throw-in for Rangers. 34 minutes gone. This is the Go Radio Football Show. Paul Cooney, John Hartson on top form, as is Craig Moore. So
a good play there from Rangers, because it was good pressing, and they're making Celtic almost just clear it up the field, because they got so many Rangers players pressing in Celtic's penalty area. They're stopping Celtic from playing out, and that's what they have to do.
John, you'll be looking forward to the Champions League. We'll talk about it later if we have time, but today it's all about this. One of the greatest derbies, if not the greatest, in the world. Although today there are no opposition fans, which is always a pity. But hopefully, they're saying it'll be next year now, after not the game at Rangers in January, but from later in the year back here at Celtic Park, and then the final game hopefully at Ibrox. As Celtic now up over the halfway line, it's Cameron Carter-Vickers looking for options. There are none, so he plays it back across the back four to Liam Scales. Scales, the Ireland international now, back to Kasper Schmeichel. What a career he's had, John.
Yeah, he has. And I just think as well, Paul, Joe Hart did extremely well. Then he's become a real fan's favourite. But I just think with Kasper, I think he's better with his feet.
Yep.
I think he gives you that little bit more of you're comfortable when he's at his feet. Sometimes with Joe Hart, you're thinking, well, sometimes he'd give it away and everything else. As much as well as he did, I think Kasper Schmeichel is very good with his ball at his feet.
Joe Hart is a guest of Celtic. We've seen him already on Sky there. He's in the up from Match of the Day yesterday. He's doing well, isn't he, Craig? So good career.
Top career, and I'm sure he'll follow that with a top career maybe as a pundit. Seems to be going into the media. Gary
Lineker will hope he doesn't do too well just in case he takes over. But it's going to be a throw-in. Rangers down near the corner flag at the Celtic end. James Tavernier punts it upfield, but it falls to the head of Callum McGregor. He plays it forward looking for Bernardo, but a bit of untidy play. Here comes Conor Barron.
Oh, good tackle.
Good tackle. Good recovery there, John. As Celtic now come forward up over the halfway line. And Kyogo, he's deep. He plays it out right to Kuhn. Kyogo goes down just outside the box. Celtic still coming forward. Great chance here. Got to beat. No, it's good save there. As Celtic. Oh, what a chance there.
Sitter. Absolute sitter.
Hatate, John.
Has to score.
Wow.
Has to score. But again, that was the second chance. First chance falls to, was it Kyogo? No, it wasn't Kyogo because he's down on the ground there.
I think it's been
Maeda. Great block by Tavernier first. Hatate's just got to hit the target. He's trying to feed it into the far
He's
corner.
almost trying to lift it.
John, yeah.
Well, what a chance. Obviously, what a chance. We just spoke about Celtic going. I think he just mishits it, Paul. Doesn't get the angle of his foot right. Brendan Rodgers' arms are in the air. He thinks it's number 2.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole stadium thought it was number 2.
Craig. So
Rangers dodged the bullet there, Paul.
They did.
Absolutely.
Yellow card for Sterling for that tackle on Kyogo.
On Kyogo.
Yeah.
He almost tried to pull Kyogo back in the when Celtic were countering.
Gary, you're on the yellow cards. No, you're not on the yellow card personally, our producer today. He's a Burnley fan. He was down at the match yesterday with Blackburn Rovers 1-1. Looks like McCausland's coming on here as Rabbi Matondo. He's run his race. That injury is just too much. Pulled something.
Too much. So, like for like replacement. What you are going to get from McCausland is a really honest shift. He's going to work ever so hard. You'll need to in front of Tavernier.
John?
I'm just putting him in there.
Yep, sure.
McCausland.
Yep,
So just changing my team slightly.
Yep. John Hartson, Craig Moore, 1-0 Celtic. Should have been 2 there. It looks easy from here, doesn't it, John? It's
yeah, it does. It does. But you know what, Paul? You know that's a really, really gift of a chance for a player of Hitate's quality and his goal-scoring prowess. He must be 7 yards out. He's on a bit of an angle. You have to score there.
He was wanted. He was wanted during the window. Leicester City were mentioned. £10 million bid.
It's a sitter for him. It's an absolute sitter.
A League 1 club were in. I thought the first division would come in for him, but in France, but they said no. And so they couldn't sell.
They were never going to lose both him and O'Reilly, were they? Same
does
window.
that affect the player? Do you think? I'm not saying it does here. He's given everything, but if you.
I think he knows his time will come.
Okay.
Paul, if he keeps performing at Celtic and they're performing, then there's going to be more opportunity for the player.
Jefty was booked earlier, so too Diamondi just there, Sterling as well, and for Celtic, Alistair Johnson. As the ball comes to the hands of Jack Butland, or the feet, he's looking up. It's 1-0. That's one of the new. We're seeing the new Celtic signings there.
Vala. That was Vala from Barcelona on loan, and that's what I mean. He's brought in Vala from Barcelona on. Although he's not, I don't think he's played for the foot other than playing in the pre-season friendly. I think
that's right.
But he's not brought him in on a season's loan if he ain't going to play him. So he probably might get the best out of Taylor.
Here's Kyogo, 25 yards out, goes for the shots, a goal. Kyogo.
2-0. What a finish, Paul. He's 25 yards out and he passes it. He passes it into the goal beyond Butland. It's an unbelievable finish, Paul. It's gone right along the ground. It hasn't come an inch off the ground. And this is absolutely world class from Kyogo.
And it actually starts here. Look, Barron passes, Czerny caught sleeping, Taylor forward pass, Kyogo 25 yards out, and you're right, John. It's not blasted. He just picks his spot. He passes it in the far corner. But again, for Celtic, they'll be delighted with that. But that's far too easy. And Rangers will be absolutely, or Clermont will be absolutely fuming because that's 2. But this looks as if this game could be anything now.
Butland is slightly too far over on his right-hand side, but for Kyogo to even see that, to look up and have the vision, and then it's an unbelievable pass of a football. That strong groin, and Butland's reaching for it. It's inside Butland's left-hand post. It's an unbelievable fish, and we spoke about Celtic going 2-0 up at half-time. Now they've got that cushion. They can come out now and maybe enjoy the second half.
Kyogo loved that moment because, of course, Celtic paid, $8 million for another striker, Adam Ida. Very different. He'll play a role as well. But Kyogo, he cupped his ears, his hands to his ears, just saying, I think I'm the number one.
Yeah, people were talking all week, will it be Ida or will it be Kyogo? It's Kyogo all day for me. In these big games, he never lets anybody down. We've seen him score Champions League goals. He's scored cup final goals for Celtic. He's a big game player and he's gone and scored a wonder goal this afternoon.
It's great days for Celtic fans, John, isn't it? At the moment, 4 minutes to go in the first half against Rangers. It's a huge game.
Yeah, they're better. They're better all round.
You know what?
Craig, sometimes you go, well, but you look at play and at the minute, in all fairness to Rangers, they're in a bit of a transition. They're trying to rebuild. They've had to get rid of their big players, their big earners, if you like.
They need money in the club.
And they have to go again. They have to go again. And they've trusted Clement to do that.
Craig, we'll come to Rangers in a moment, but here comes Coon, making down to the line. It's still Coon, a good run from him. Plays it back, looking for Hatate, but there's a clearance here by Rangers. Just 2.5 minutes left in the first half. 2-0 Celtic as the ball's played all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Former Man City and Leicester, of course, he won the cup in England, the FA Cup, with Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah,
and I think Brendan Rodgers played a big part in bringing him here. Craig, it's too early for Rangers post-mortem, but this today, we've talked about the project and all. It's for later, it's too early. But anyone can see the gulf in spending. That doesn't always work. No. But Rangers, Glasgow Rangers, they need they?
Absolutely. And we're talking about the spending for Celtic, but it's on the bench at the moment, Paul. It's not even on the field, So John is bang on. They're just showing that they are better. Rangers for the first 10 minutes competed. They pressed high up. They had an opportunity from the Tierney free kick. But again, we talk about over the course of the season how strong Celtic are going to be. Over the course of these first 43 minutes, you can actually see how much stronger they are than Rangers.
And here they come again, but just overplayed there, and it's going to be Rangers breaking, but it only comes as far as, I think that's Paulo Bernardo. Down, great play, isn't it? Very strong, John, isn't it?
Up against Diamande, who's also very strong.
Absolutely. So Celtic heading towards half-time, 2 up, but they're looking for goal number 3. Or can Rangers hit back at Celtic again? Good ball into the box, and it's just cleared. Craig, that was a decent clearance, but the ball's...
How many times have Celtic got in behind Rangers?
Forward run.
And it's down that right-hand side.
Every time. As Rangers now come forward, Tierney, can he do something? Celtic have got people back in numbers, but Dezers goes on a good run there, but it's a good ball.
Awful touch.
Terrible touch.
Awful touch.
Tavernier got into a good position.
The attack again,
Yep. So, as Callum McGregor, the captain, just takes the sting out of things, doesn't he? Yep. Gary's just checking the sausage rolls, McGee's rolls.
You go on about recruitment though, Paul, right?
Yeah.
And whether they're going to be a success or not.
Yeah.
You look at Kyogo and Maeda, in particular Hatate.
Wow. Yeah.
What a deal that was by the recruitment and Ange Postecoglou to bring them 3 Japan internationals in. Sure. Today the goal scorers Maeda and Kyogo. They have been so special for Celtic in the time that they've been here. And sometimes you need a bit of luck. They bring in 3 Japan internationals. Not quite sure how they would go, but they've been instrumental in Celtic's success over the last couple of years.
That's a great point.
No doubt about that.
Everyone was like, who are they? But Ange Postecoglou brought them in. And there was a chance there for Rangers. The ball trying to thread it through, Craig, for Dezers, but it didn't quite get there. 30 seconds left in the first half. I don't think there'll be much injury time added, but there always is a minute or 2 or 10.
Yeah, you're right. That was a game, but as we speak, Celtic
again down the left. You've got Kyogo, you've got Maeda though. That time,
take a touch.
He had time, John, didn't he?
His body just wasn't really set for him to play it first time.
Yeah. Push
but
there.
He's got opportunity. I think if he takes the touch, it comes back in on his right hand side. He's got more of a chance then of picking Kyogo. Maeda went for it first time, but I didn't think his body angle was right set up for that.
That's a great point that John made there, isn't it? That you're the guy who was your gaffer for a short time, Ange Postecoglou. The signings, and they're still 3 years later, they're huge players for Celtic.
Absolutely. You look at Jota as well. What do they give for Jota? 25 million, whatever it was.
Just 25 million. Amazing, isn't it, Craig?
No, it was top recruitment, and again from a market that I still think is. I'm not talking about Jota. I'm talking about the Asian.
Sure.
That is massively overlooked in my opinion.
Still,
I still think so because again you can get some quality.
Jota's in. Sorry, Craig.
Jota.
Maeda plays it to Bernardo. Bernardo's through. Could be goal number 3. Great save. Good save. It was a poor shot at the end. Bernardo had the chance there to finish the game.
Showed great feet. Bernardo's skipped around 3 Rangers players inside the box. Nobody gets a tackle in. Look at this. Comes back inside and it's a really good save. Butler gets down low to his left hand side and it's the last thing we just wanted for Saturday to go 3 up before half time.
That's a good save. If Bernardo scores that goal there, that would have been a goal that would have been showed over and over and over again. It was great feat, but again, Paul, it's far too easy for Celtic. Rangers have absolutely crumbled and will be desperate to get in, or Philippe Clement will be desperate to get this team in at half time.
Yeah. if he'd scored there, that'd be another 5 to 10 million on his worth, isn't it? Just in the context that he's in for Matt O'Reilly. Not exactly, but he's in the midfield and there's Ingles. And of course, if it was 3, you might see some of them coming on the second half. At 2, John.
Craig, have they missed Balogun today with his presence and his... What do you think?
But you know what, John? I like Balogun. He's got great experience and all that sort of stuff. But I just think that in terms of the attack and the pace and the transition that Celtic offer, I still think Balogun struggles.
May well have struggled,
in this type of game as well. Yeah.
So 3 minutes added on. We've had 2 of them. Celtic are 2 up as we head towards half-time. But is there something? Could Rangers now come back? They're up into the Celtic half. Captain James Tavernier. What would it mean to him to get a win, even a point today against Celtic? But at the moment, the margin is 2, and it could have been more, as it's played back to John Souttar. The press is always there, though, isn't it? There's Hatate this time up, putting pressure as Rangers now come forward. Here's McCausland trying to get the better of Alistair Johnson. Johnson wins this tussle, plays it forward to Hatate, just dinks it out to the right as Kuhn comes forward. A good tackle.
It's a fair tackle for Diamonde, and he looks to play the ball forward to Dessers. Scales ended up doing well there. Schmeichel with a clearance.
He's been quiet, Dessers, isn't he?
Hasn't had service.
No.
Hasn't had service. John at all.
Yeah.
As the Conor Barron just went down there, but he's back up on his feet as Rangers come down the right. Czerny, last act of the first half. Plays it to James Tavernier. Tavernier threads it through to Dessers. Great ball from Dessers. Trying to play it through to Czerny.
By the way, Taylor, brilliant defending. So again, I'm going to just show you that defending, right, in terms of tracking runners, getting your body in the right position, getting across the forward run. Celtic have made forward run after forward run, both right and left-hand side, and it has not been matched by Rangers. That is the difference in defending.
Half-time, Celtic 2, Rangers 0. Craig Moore, John Hartson, next, half-time analysis.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go!
It's half-time in the derby. Celtic leading by 2-0. The day started with the league table with Aberdeen on top, and Celtic will join them if this stays at 2-0 or more. We've had the table up there. We'll get it up again in a moment or two. That's the first half stats. I know the possession was... It's just gone. I was going to give the stats as well. Gary's trying to work me out. Shots on target. Celtic 7, Rangers 3. On target 3 for Celtic and 1 for Rangers. Shots 7 to Celtic, 3 to Rangers. Possession, not that much in it. Celtic 57%, Rangers 43%. And what else? Pass accuracy, not much in it, John. 83% for Celtic and 80% for Rangers. Stats. So
how can that be right?
What's that, John?
Is it passes, you mean? No.
Yeah, stats, who knows? I don't go that crazy on these passes.
I just think, Paul, in the first half, for me, I think Celtic have had too much pace for Rangers. They've really troubled them in wide areas. I think they've had too much invention. I think they're creative and too much guile in and around the box. And Kyogo scored a wonder goal. Really, maybe you can look at Maeda's goal, Alistair Johnson's. Was it Alistair Johnson? Who pulled it back? Alistair Johnson. Yeah, so he gets in too easy. Gets in behind the Rangers' defence too easy.
For Maeda,
Yeah, it's 2, Paul, but genuinely, it could be 3 or 4.
Yeah, Bernardo did really well with that one. And then Craig for Kyogo. So Rangers' point of view, this could
Rangers,
be...
Rangers' point of view started well, Paul. Started well, but again, that's not good enough in terms of you need to then build into the game, and they were unable to do that. The first transitional moment for Celtic, they went up and they scored. Yeah, it was offside. VAR, Kuhn was offside. And again, the high line that Rangers are playing in terms of wanting to try and put pressure on the ball and stop Celtic and win it in good areas is great. But I just think that the back line doesn't have the speed and have been exposed badly, because I just think that Rangers have been all over the place. They've not been close enough to get Celtic heads down and win the ball. Celtic have opportunities. This is the first one that we're seeing. We're seeing some of the highlights and all that.
Right. The disallowed goal you just mentioned, Kuhn just...
Kuhn, and again, he does a good ball into Kyogo.
You spotted it, yep. But that was the writing was on the wall, wasn't it?
Very much so. But Paul, again, defensively, I think Rangers have been really, really poor. Again, I'm seeing things that have happened in previous games that are still repeating themselves here. Forward runs by Celtic, which aren't being matched. Celtic are causing absolute nightmares for this. Again, Johnston there. That was for the Maeda goal, getting to the byline. Forward runs.
From Maeda. Brilliant from me. He's anticipating. He's gambling where the ball is going to go. And it's brilliant because Alistair Johnson gets it. The only thing Alistair Johnson can do is put it back into an area. Brilliant from Alistair Johnson, but Maeda just getting inside Tavernier. Tavernier's nowhere near. He doesn't even know where Maeda is. All he's got to do is be side on, look over his shoulder. He doesn't know where Maeda is, and Maeda comes in, a great finish. This is world class.
Kyogo's goal.
Goal. He's 28 yards out, Paul, and he's side footed it. How can he manage to do that? You can't side foot it for that long and hopefully beat a world class goalkeeper in Butland. That is just, it's an exquisite finish.
Top finish, and again that was from Celtic defending on the front foot, Paul. That was Taylor sort of like going and winning the ball off a Cherney. Pass forward to Kyogo, who likes to drop off, but he scores from a decent distance. It was a really, really good finish. And Celtic they've just grown as the game's gone on.
Yeah, and do you know what it is now, Paul? I think there's a real problem for Philip Clement now and Rangers, because you know why now? Celtic go into games against Rangers expecting to win.
Wow.
They really, really do. They don't think they're going to lose. They know that they can be inventive, creative. They got unbelievable better players in wide areas in the middle of the park. And Rangers are almost playing against Celtic and going, let's hope we carve something out. Let's hope that maybe we can get a goal. It's more of hoping, am I right, Craig? And Celtic are expecting to win these games.
But even in your team,
now.
you didn't feel that because the matchup was much closer, wasn't it?
Rangers were a lot better than them.
You beat them 6-2. They beat you 5-1.
We had a lot of great games of Rangers, cup finals, and we lost many a game against Rangers. But back then, they had proper winners. They had men. They had experience.
I think Rangers second. I actually think that this Rangers team needs to change formation. I really do. I think they need to go 5 at the back or 3 at the back, get 3 centre halves and your wing backs. I really do, because again, Rangers are in the situation now again with Jefte on a yellow card, where I can guarantee you Celtic are going to make sure that Kuhn or whoever replaces Kuhn at this match is going to get isolated as much as they possibly can. He's already on a yellow card.
Rangers 2 full-backs today, Jefte and Tavernier, have been poor.
They've had a tough time, John, haven't they? We're going to find out what's happening in the second half after this.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go!
It's the Go Radio Football Show. Paul Cooney, John Hartson, Craig Moore. Celtic leading 2-0 at half-time. The goals coming in 16 minutes. Maeda, great ball through from Bernardo, and he took it really well, Maeda, the Japanese international. And it was his compatriot, Kyogo, who scored in 40 minutes. A peach of a goal, given far too much space, but a great ball through. And 28 yards out, he just stroked it past goalkeeper Jack Butland. Quite a few people on the socials. Rangers, what are they going to do at half-time then? So you said they might go to flat back 5.
I just think that they need to maybe try and create an overload in the middle of the park. I think a back 4 is not helping. I think the high line is not helping. I don't think there's anywhere near enough pace at the back for Rangers that's able to handle Celtic's attack and the pace of their attack. So I would look to, like I says, change it, because what you've been doing over this game and previous games isn't working.
Matondo went off, as you know, replaced by McCausland. Is he going to make a switch at half-time, or is it going to be, bringing somebody on? Has he got any other options at the back?
I think he's got to make
Balogun?
changes, Paul. He's got to freshen things up.
Yeah.
You can't go in with that same 11 because they've not been creative enough. And I think he says to his players, look, we're still in the game. We're still in the game. We're only 2-0 down. We should be 4-0 down or 3-0 down. Celtic should be out of sight. Let's get it right. So Clement says to his players, look, thankfully, if we get the next goal, then we've got a chance. If they concede the next goal, Celtic go 3, it's game over. The referee can blow up. It's gone. But Philip Clement says, we're still very much in this game. Let's start the second half like we started the first half, but this time let's just try and and get on the score sheet and make it 2-1, and then all of a sudden it can get a bit tricky at that sort of score line. But the worst thing that can happen now is Celtic to go 3 and start playing keep ball.
And John, from a Celtic point of view, what do you do? What does Brendan Rodgers at halftime? Does he do anything?
More of the same. Just more of the same. I think Celtic have been excellent. They've showed pace. They showed a bit of patience early on in the game. They scored 2 very, very good goals. It might be a case of maybe he'll give Idar 20 minutes and bring Kyogo off. He might have a look at putting Vala on and bringing Taylor off. Maybe because he's put them on the substitute bench, Paul. So maybe just give some of them a few minutes. And that's why he hasn't started with them. But I'd be very surprised if he doesn't use 2 or 3 of his new signings if the scoreline stays what it is.
I agree. I think if they get to that 60-minute mark, he'll start introducing players if the score is the same. And to be fair, Celtic, from what we've seen in the first half, could easily go on with a job. Big task for Rangers. Clement, what does he do? He has to make changes, in my opinion. Does he keep Jeff Day out there and run the risk of the same European fate? 2 yellow cards.
What would you do?
Again, I think in this type of game, I think I would make the change because I think, being isolated and having to make challenges, which you need your fullbacks to do, you run the risk of that second yellow and therefore going down to 10 men, which would be a disaster.
2 other games on this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Hearts against Dundee United. My goodness, Hearts 4 defeats in a row. So certainly without the win, weren't they? Yeah, they lost then the other night. So they dropped down to the Conference League. So Hearts against Dundee United. Tough time for Stephen Naismith. Good start for Jim Goodwin. And then Kilmarnock against Hibs. Killie as well need to get some wins. And so do Hibs, as the former Kilmarnock star and Rangers star Chris Boyd. Tough afternoon for him. He always wears it in his face, doesn't he? You can see just watching them there. Stilian Petrov was smiling and James McFadden just there neutral.
Tough watch, Paul. Tough watch for Rangers supporters. Again, like it says, the positive start was only a start. It was only the 5 or 10 minutes. And once Celtic got into that match and obviously got the 2 goals, it was like the concern is what's going to happen this half.
No changes, I don't think. We see Jeffy coming out there just looking at it. The Rangers out. And so the Celtic players too. John?
Well, Paul Clement now, he's looking for characters, right? He's looking at his team and saying, right, who's going to give me something?
Who are they?
Who's going to... Well, exactly right. We haven't seen it in the first half. Who's going to give me something? Who's going to make me stand up and go in on Monday morning and say to my assistant that he was good in the second half? He showed a bit of bravery. I know I've got him. I know I can trust him, right? So it's all about character now. It's all about character. Who can stand up now and be counted for in that Rangers dressing room when they're right up against it? It's okay doing it when you're in front, and you've got momentum. Now he wants to see people. What sort of character has he got now?
The TIFO changed at half-time from let Glasgow flourish to let Celtic flourish. They're flourishing at the moment, 2-0. It could have been wider. Hatate, what a chance he had. Rangers had started really well. Well, it's live on Sky. There's Ian Crocker on with Neil McCann and Chris Sutton, your striking partner, along with Henrik Larsson. Larsson's not on today, but we've got John Hartson here on Go Radio Football Show with Craig Moore. As the game gets underway, Celtic are playing left to right as we look from right to left, I beg your pardon, as we look from the main stand. As Rangers now start sharp, chance for Dessers, but too much on it, and it's cleared by CCV.
Poor touch.
It was a poor touch. Diamonde does well to rob Hatate, I think. Plays the ball forward and Dessers just couldn't keep it close enough, couldn't keep it under control.
And the ball's all the way back to the other end. It's played back to Jack Butland, former, England goalkeeper. He's got 7 caps, should have been more, but he's had a busy afternoon. He had no chance really. I don't think, Craig, would that be fair at the goals?
No, it was a great finish by Kyogo. The only thing you could possibly say is he probably wasn't central of his goal. John was he?
He wasn't.
He was slightly off.
But that was real vision from Kyogo to almost spot that, because he should never be beaten from 28 yards out with a side foot pass into the goal. He is clearly over on one side too far.
Conor Barron in the midfield. Rangers, I'll give you the Celtic lineup: Schmeichel, Johnson, Carter, Vickers, Scales and Taylor, McGregor the captain, Bernardo and Hatate, Kuhn, Maeda and Kyogo. And on the bench, strong bench, Sinisalo the new keeper, Trusty just in, Palma, Ida, Valle, McCowan just in, of course, from Dundee, Engels, the Belgian, £11 million signing.
Big money,
No, great things
million.
expected of this young player. Forrest and Ralston. Well, James Forrest come on, of course, who's enjoyed a lot of success in this fixture. For Rangers, Butland, Tavernier, Proper, Suter and Jefty, Sterling, Barron and Diamandi.
Oh, wow.
Matondo went off, of course, Czerny and Dessers.
Sorry, Paul.
Craig, what did we miss there?
Bernardo
sloppy.
sleeping here. McCausland nicks it. Dessers, that's a powder puff. That's a powder puff effort.
Yeah.
No power. He's got to strike that, get through the ball to the left side of Kasper Schmeichel. He does nothing with it.
Let him treacle there, wasn't he?
Again, it was Celtic in attack here again.
Couldn't into the box, but straight into the arms of Jack Butland. That was a chance at the other end. Just look at that. I mean, if Rangers could score this early.
Yep. No belief. It looked like. Again, he's never going to let you down in terms of the work rate, the effort that he puts in. But again, that was a big chance, and he just doesn't get a hold of it. Fluffed his lines in front of goal.
And for Rangers, the change there was McCausland, who came on after about half an hour for Matondo. So it's McCausland with Czerny and Dessers up front. Celtic 2, Rangers 0, 48 minutes gone in the derby. Celtic just knocking the ball about.
Look at again, nobody's... Rangers
pressing.
Players have got, there you go, 2 metres. Every time they receive the ball, Celtic have got 2 metres, 3 metres, 5 metres. Too easy.
Celtic will be looking, John, to
It's
get
angles. It's the angles that Celtic are playing at. One player comes out of his area, then he leaves a little bit of space for another player to run into. You know, they're making an angle so they can receive it on the back foot. So they're almost proactive in terms of the next pass they're going to play. It's great football. It's great football from Celtic.
Atati to McGregor to Johnson. Johnson out to the right to Kuhn. 15 yards out, makes for the byline, went to corner. It comes off of Jefty, who's on that yellow card.
It's been quiet apart from, it was a yellow card, obviously, because Kuhn had turned and there was space in behind. But he hasn't really been involved in the game. There's been a lot that's gone down his side, in particular the first half, as the rain comes down there. But Celtic with a corner.
Going to be taken by Bernardo. Kuhn is out there as well. John beating the referee this afternoon. Decent first half, I think we'd agree. Here it is, right-footed into the box. Great header there. Oh, free header, but it's still cleared, still in play. There was a chance there for Maeda, but it's Hitati on this left.
First
side.
contact, Paul.
Yeah.
First contact again is Celtic there. It's similar to what happened in the first half when Maeda gets in near post, gets ahead of that, fizzes across the goal. And Celtic could have easily been on the end of that once again.
Kasper Schmeichel well out his line as he likes and starts an attack here for Celtic. Kuhn down the right. It's played back to Bernardo. They're beaten by Sterling. So as Dessers tries to get involved, tries to get a tussle there with Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers just shields him off.
Only one winner there.
Yep, the USA international. He's
Showed
still in the ball.
strength there, Craig, didn't he?
Absolutely ragged Dessers.
Then the Rangers have won a free kick. Midway inside.
Well, this is great from Maeda. That's a good chance, but then it's not so much the first header, it's the second one that Celtic are trying to get onto, and actually Kyogo just runs past the ball. But a good chance again for Celtic to make it 3.
That was like very, very similar to the first half.
Certainly was,
Maeda gets in, header to the far post, and Kyogo nearly gets in at the second stick. He makes a positive run there, John. If he put the brakes on, he probably gets a tap in.
Right, yeah, he just runs past it, doesn't he?
Diamante's not happy, saying his shirt was pulled. There'd been a pull on him. He's not happy, but these days you're not allowed to speak to the referee, are you? It's up to the captain. James Tavernier was there. Yep. Cameras on Sky are on Philippe Clement. He's just stroking the beard, thinking.
Craig would have been booked every week, Paul, if he couldn't speak to the ref. He used to get into the ref's ear every single week. He used to referee games, by the way, Moro.
Great pals.
He's referee these
But
games.
it's a good. I actually think it's a good ruling, though, John. In terms of, because there's nothing worse when you see players surrounding the referee. I think it's a good rule that's come into the game.
It's going to be a free kick foul there on Diamande. So Rangers, can they come back into it? Celtic 2 up. Let's see the foul again. It's Bernardo. He was a bit late as well, so Diamande clutching his ankle. It's going to be, what's that, 40 yards out. Czerny over the ball. So too is Tavernier. It's probably going to be the left foot of Czerny. Proper is there. He's got Bernardo on him. There's John Suter. The height's up there, left footed into the box. Chance, but it's headed away still. Edge of the box, headed forward. Another chance for Rangers. Cleared this time by Alistair Johnson. And it's still with Rangers, with Conor Barron.
Paul, if Rangers get the next goal, you'll see a massive momentum shift. You really will. The players will believe, they'll start believe at 2-0. It's a long way back, but if Rangers get the next one and make it 2-1, that's going to make a huge difference.
As Rangers come down the left, ball played into the box. Chance for Rangers. It's cleared. There's going to be a corner kick. So that was a real chance, Craig Moore.
It's a real chance. I think it's McCausland that fires the ball in. He actually does well, puts it in a dangerous... Sorry, no, it's Czerny. In a dangerous area. The ball falls for Suter. Gets a shot. It's blocked.
Yeah.
He
falls to the wrong player, falls to a centre back.
Yeah, he's unlucky. He doesn't try to blast it. He tries to side foot it. In the end, it's a good block.
Rangers having the best spell of the game so far as James Tavernier, right-footed, whips it right into the far post. Schmeichel's gone down. It's come off the post. Still in play. In fact, is there...
2 down.
Yep, 2 down. 2 Rangers players are down. We'll see the replay. Dezers is down. Suter's back up. That was some danger.
Well, is this Suter the back post? Suter the back post gets a header. It goes off the post.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see anything wrong with that. It's a big hit corner.
Yeah.
And Suter does brilliantly. Doesn't give it up, and he heads it back across, and it comes off the inside of the post.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything wrong with that, Craig. Did you? What was that foul for?
Yeah, maybe, if anything, with a slight nudge by Suter on scales.
Very fair, Craig Moore. As is John Hartson.
Very balanced from Moore over there.
2-0 to Celtic. Celtic actually having a shaky spell at the moment. And it just shows you, John, you said it. Celtic should have been 3 up right on just before half time. They missed it. And the ascendancy now with Rangers, because I guess, so the manager said, come out, Rangers, go
and again,
for it.
like they did, they, to be fair to Rangers, they also did start the match positive, but it's just...
It's a great run again.
Here comes Celtic. It's Maeda down the left.
Ruthless Celtic are in
just
attack.
seem to get in behind so easy.
Right, here comes Celtic then. Hatati. Still edge of the box. He's looking up. He's looking for options. Callum McGregor is there, but bad
wasteful
pass, wasn't it?
Really wasteful there.
That was a chance.
From a really
too long
good
in the ball.
moment for Celtic. Hatati's in and he just slows everything down. And there's players. Kyogo's in there. Bernardo's trying to get in the box.
John Anders Engels warming up to come on. Yeah, the £11 million man.
I'd like to have a look at him today. I'm sure the Celtic fans would, Paul. Okay, and he might come on when Celtic are winning the game. And he won't be tested that much, but it might be a good time to put him on,
Here's Hatati, Celtic in the Rangers half, looks forward, good ball through for Maeda. Maeda's got the paces we know, tries to cross comes shot past the post. A little bit wasteful, John, your old team at the moment.
Yeah, Maeda makes great runs. He comes forward, there, and he's just off. And he plays on the shoulder of Tavernier. He gives Tavernier absolutely nightmares.
He does, John, but that's awful defending. It really is.
By
Tavernier, by central defender there. It's like the spaces behind there. If you can't, sometimes you can not make it a foot race, Paul. You can still put your body in the way, so he has to then run around you and all that. It's just too easy for those forward runs that Celtic are making to get him behind.
Go Radio Football Show, Paul Cooney, Craig Moore, John Hartson. 55 minutes gone. There's a number the Rangers fans love, 55 titles, but it's been a couple of years since that. Celtic have won the last 3 titles. 2 of them under Ange Postecoglou, last season under Brendan Rodgers. We're seeing referee John Beaton there, so he's pulling the play back. I think it's going to be a free kick for Celtic. Celtic would like, clearly, to get goal number 3 and finish the game. Rangers have looked better start of the second half, although they started the first half well. And then Celtic pounced Kyogo. It was chalked off, but then Maeda scoring, and then Kyogo.
What's Suter doing there?
As Celtic
He's tried to
coming
drive
forward down the left.
Celtic have robbed
Just
him.
seeing it again
because of maybe Suter there. He's got no other
right,
option.
here's Celtic. Let's keep our eyes and ears on this one. Remember, our listeners can't hear it. We're the eyes and ears. Okay, so
quick free kick. Celtic tried to play, but Beaton has called it back. Fortunately for Rangers, because Celtic were once again.
But he's like, you're 2 up. You can't take it that quickly.
Yeah.
Not sure Celtic just would. They don't normally just lump it into the box. They like to play it short and play little angles in and around Rangers penalty
free
area.
Kick. 20, 30 yards out on this left side. Bernardo into the box, but that's a poor one, isn't it? It goes out for a corner kick.
Yeah,
it's going to be a corner.
Decent delivery in from Bernardo. None of the Celtic players actually went for it. Tavernier, helps it on with the header out for another Celtic corner. But again, Tavernier probably could have headed it out the way rather than for a corner and put more pressure on the team.
Rangers making a change. Tom Lawrence is about to come on after 56 minutes before this corner kick. But no, the referee's allowed that to play on. Bernardo to Kuhn. Kuhn back down the right. Nicholas Kuhn still in the ball. Plays it for Hatate. 30 yards out, but he's forced back to goal. Plays it all the way back to Alistair Johnson. Johnson out to Captain McGregor. McGregor, uncharacteristically poor ball there. Celtic have just not got going in the second half.
Well, Hatate again, I don't think he really needs to come out and play it almost back to Carter Vickers on his own halfway line. I think when you got the momentum there and you right far up the pitch, keep it there.
Yep.
Sometimes no need to come back and go again.
Tom Lawrence, the Welsh international, coming on for Mohamed Diamandi. So, Craig, what are you looking for from him? Tom Lawrence, he can be, when he's on it, he can be very effective.
No, look, he, again, an attacking player, number 10, he's going to have to look to try and play off McGregor and be positive in terms of trying to create opportunities. Don't want to see him defending too much because Rangers need to get a goal to get back into this match.
I think it was said earlier in the week, Paul, that Craig Bellamy had already been in touch, now the national manager for Wales, with Tom Lawrence, and he said, look, you're still very much in my thinking, but you need to start performing and giving me some really good performances for Rangers, and then I'll consider you for one of the squads. So it's totally down now. Robert Page almost didn't want to know Tom Lawrence.
Why?
Well, he was really frozen out. But Craig's come back in and said, look, if you're doing the business, I'm going to pick you. So it's completely down to Tom Lawrence now to show that attitude and get back to the player he was that we saw at Derby under Wayne Rooney. He was terrific. That's what got him the move to Rangers.
That's right, yep. So it's Celtic in possession. The 2 up as we head towards the hour mark. Will Celtic make some changes? We saw the £11 million Belgian warming up a few moments ago. We'll let you know. The ball played all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Schmeichel just dinks it out to the right, to the head of Bernardo. He's had a good game, hasn't he? Bernardo has done well.
Very good.
As he tries to win the ball.
That's what I like.
He
gets back and wins the
just
ball.
won a great goal.
Look at that, how he counts.
Kyogo. Oh, misses.
Past the post. That was a chance. What a ball through to the Kyogo. He dinked it.
So lively. Plays on defenders' shoulders and it's a brilliant ball through. Kyogo can always get there with his pace, but tries to dink it. This time he doesn't score.
Craig, a let off for Rangers there for sure.
Again, just Celtic are so good at transition.
Yeah.
You know, Kyogo always ready to make that run forward. I mean, look at it here. Celtic win it in the middle of the park. Boom. He's onside. Great forward run. One-on-one, he'd be disappointed that he doesn't score. He's tried to lift it over an advancing Butland and
what should he have done? Should he have?
Again, I wasn't a striker. John will know better than me in terms of.
Well, I think he does the right thing. He just gets it a little bit wrong, Paul. You know, he's
good play, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great play.
Yeah.
Brilliant ball again from Hatate and the two Japan internationals linking again. It's brilliant, that.
John, your thoughts at the moment then for Celtic? Time for another goal?
Well, they're creating chances, aren't they? You know, that is a gilt-edged chance from Kyogo. You'd normally back him to dispatch that from there, but I think while it stays 2-0, it's still a precarious scoreline.
Okay.
Rangers still have a little bit of belief, don't they? At 2, if they can get one back, but if it goes to 3, then it's firmly game over.
Come to you in a second, Craig. The ball's played all the way back. There was a great tackle by Cameron Carter-Vickers as we see Engels gets the Celtic jersey on for the first time, but he's not come on just yet. Craig, for Rangers, just what's your thinking just now?
I tell you what, for Rangers, I'm not seeing a lot of hope. For me, that yes, a goal can change this and it can swing very quickly, but at this moment in time, Celtic just look as if every opportunity they get going forward is a goal threat, and really that's very concerning. You know, winning the ball in the middle of the park there, like that last opportunity, one forward pass and Kyogo's through one-on-one with the Rangers goalkeeper. It's been far too easy, I think, for Celtic so far today.
Just showing that tackle there, Carter-Vickers on Dezers. Arnie Engels getting ready to come on. Hasn't come on yet. The hour has come and gone. We've played 61 minutes. Celtic 2, Rangers 0. Conor Barron. How's he done for you? It's been tough for him today, but
it has been tough for him again because he is a real competitor. I think you give him a task and he will stick to that. But I just think playing as a 6 by himself in there, I think he would really benefit with someone a little bit more experienced beside him to help him through. But he's honest, Paul.
It's a chance here for Rangers coming forward. It's blasted over though by McCausland. Craig, did you see that one?
Yeah, look, again, McCausland's out on the left, Paul. We know that he normally plays on the right. Comes here on his left. You know, not a great deal of confidence there.
It's a difficult chance as well. It's bounced up quite high. He's trying to play it across. There's Engels coming on.
John.
Celtic's record signing.
Yeah. Coming on for Paulo Bernardo, who's been on loan last season, then signed in the summer, along with Adam Ida, who could well come on. Bernardo, he's done well for you, John?
I think he's done very well. He's done very well. You know, you think Matt O'Reilly would normally play. Bernardo comes in, slight little bit of pressure because everybody was thinking, well, you know, can he play the role of a Bernardo? But no, he's his own player. He's got his own style, the way that he plays. But I thought he had that first 62 minutes. He was excellent for Celtic.
And Celtic fans with Arnie Engels, they'll be looking for a young De Bruyne maybe, John, or is that overly ambitious? But he's really highly rated, hence £11 million.
Yeah, well, everybody keeps saying, you know, £11 million record signing. We're all expecting him to really hit the heights, but he doesn't decide that fee.
No, sure. Yeah.
You know, that's between the two clubs. So I just hope he settles in really well and becomes another quality midfield player for Celtic. And as I said, Paul, contradicted myself a little bit, but for that money, you'd expect quality, wouldn't you?
Sure. The biggest before that was Odson Edouard, wasn't it? And $9 million for Celtic. He's 11. But as you say, it's not for the players. Here's Rangers coming forward. Tom Lawrence, his first touch of the ball, comes forward with purpose, plays it out to the left, back into the box. Chance goal. No, just gone past. Sorry, that was
big chance.
Craig, it should have been a goal.
It should have been an effort on target. Rangers get the overload. Good ball in. Is it Cantwell? Cantwell opens up with his right this time, and Chaney's behind him.
McCausland, yeah.
It was McCausland, I think. Yeah.
If he leaves it, then Chaney's got free hits at it. McCausland's tried to do it, but he's not in the right sort of his body
Position.
angle wasn't right. Yeah,
and Chaney would have been on his left foot.
It would have been a tap in for Chaney. Yeah.
Still 2-0.
Celtic keep missing opportunities to go free. And all of a sudden, you know, they'll be giving Rangers that little bit of encouragement in the game, Paul, if they don't go out of sight here.
That's what happened, a couple of times last season. Celtic winning, was it 5 of the 6? But there was a 3-3 game where Rangers scored right at the end.
That was bonkers, that game,
wasn't it? That was crazy. That's a great advert for the football and for the neutral. Have you ever met a neutral? Have you ever found one? As Celtic come forward, Kyogo, but well tackled there. And the ball played back all the way to Jack Butland. 64 minutes gone. Butland looks up what are the options for him, and he plays it 40, 50 yards forward up to the halfway line.
Scales.
But it's Scales who heads it down, but only as far as Diamandi. Sterling plays it back to Suter across to Jefty, signed in the summer. Gone a bit quiet at Celtic Park, hasn't it? It's John, you're right. Celtic fans just now hoping for another goal just to finish off this game.
They'd love another goal, I think. I mentioned it earlier. If Rangers want to quieten the crowd, they're going to have to come back with a goal here and make it a bit of a nervy sort of last 20 minutes, you know, for Celtic. But the way it's going, Paul, both sides are breaking. They're both getting opportunities. You know, we've seen both teams getting good chances in the second half. It's just that the finishing has not been clinical enough from both sides yet.
Celtic goals for so far this season, 11 goals, no goals against in terms of the league. Only 1 goal against that came in the cup game against Hibs. As Celtic come forward, down the right, they're 2 up. Here's Kuhn towards the edge of the box, plays it forward, chipped forward by Alistair Johnson, but it comes off McCausland to McGregor out to the right to Johnson into the box, deflection. What a save though by Butland. That was almost an own goal, Craig.
Yeah, it was a cross that's come in the wide area, right hand side from Celtic. It does take a deflection, and Butland has to make a great save in the end. He's done really, really well to get down low to his left. Otherwise it could have quite easily been 3-0 for Celtic.
Great save. When the goalkeeper's all of a sudden going one way and he has to readjust and sort of save it on his inside, if you like. Brilliant save. Stopped it going 3-0 there, Butland.
John, you'll probably score if I say it, but Kyogo might come off soon, maybe?
Possibly. Maybe give Vidar and 20 minutes. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be hungry to get on the score sheet.
Here's the corner into the box, but it's headed away, but only as far as Kuhn, who's a terrific shot, but it cannons off a Rangers defender who did well. Still in play, but it's now gone out of play. It's going to be a throw-in. as a Celtic player has gone down.
He took a heavy fall there, Coon.
It was more. You're right. It's more his fall rather than.
Sure. Yeah. Time to bring on
anything
James
else.
Forrest, maybe.
Yeah, again, I think Celtic are probably at that stage where it's more Kuhn does take a bad
It
fall
was,
there.
wasn't it?
Lawrence
Yeah.
comes across, gets the block, but Kuhn comes down on his back. It looked like.
Was Dezer's been booked? Yeah, what happened? Must have been a bit of chat off. He's not happy about it. So, Cyril Dezers. ¿Qué pasa? Yeah.
I think point there as if he's got a smack in the mouth.
Yeah,
I
he's not
don't
happy.
know
Yeah.
from who.
Yeah. John, it wasn't you, was it? No.
No, Paul, we're in front, Paul. I don't do that when you're leading.
You two, I'd love to have. Wouldn't it be great now if I'd known then that I would be
He
working
was
with
a
you two?
nightmare.
come
He was a
on.
nightmare. He's so physically aggressive.
Behave yourself.
As Sarah.
But you know what? We'd meet in the players' bar after and we'd
Yeah.
have a good old chat and
Did
a
you?
pint. That's
Yeah.
what it should be like.
Here's the ball forward to Dezers. Dezers plays it to Journey, edge of the box. Oh, it's a poor ball. It's wasteful, Craig, isn't it?
Good defending, though,
Yeah.
by
Craig
Taylor.
Taylor.
He
Yeah.
reads the pass.
He's actually defended.
And Maida,
He's defended very well. What's happened
Could be
here?
another book
Something-
in it.
it's off the ball. Just looking to see. It's a
Another
yellow
booking.
card. Another yellow. I know Gary's keeping to Tom Lawrence. He's not happy.
No, he's not happy.
He's saying you're having a laugh, referee. I think something like that.
On
he
the
said.
new player,
Yeah,
Engels?
on Engels. Let's see it. Here we go. Yeah,
Nah,
okay.
he just brace himself. Body check.
Welcome to Scotland.
Yeah.
Says the Welshman.
But Tom Lawrence has picked up a yellow card there. But again, he's on. He wants to try and impress. It wasn't over the top. It was just a body check, and Engels goes to ground.
Yeah, we'll just play has stopped. Manager Brendan Rodgers in the suit, hands in the pockets. What is he thinking about? Maybe.
Well, Celtic have had
Switching.
moments. They've had moments in the second half. I don't think they've been as good with their passing, as crisp as what they were in the first half, where they were very, very good. But saying that, they've still had their moments. They've created one or two opportunities. If the scoreline was a little bit more, we'd be saying how good they've been. It's only because they've been a bit wasteful, Paul, but they've still been very good.
This could have shaped up
Still
as a
been pretty
6-2
much
day.
in control.
It's been a lot of chances, Paul. It's
Or
been
the
end to
5-1. I
end.
know.
It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
has been end to end.
As Celtic come forward, Hatate doesn't quite thread through though to the new player who's we've not seen much of so far. He's only been on for 5 minutes as Rangers now. Seeing a bit more possession in the second half. Poor ball by Tavernier, but he recovers and plays it out to the right. It's Conor Barron now, anchoring there for Rangers in the midfield. Plays it forward to Chen. This is a good play. Back to Tavernier. Tavernier to the left. Here is Sterling. Sterling plays it back to Conor Barron. Craig, a decent spell for Rangers. Here's Cheney down the right. What's on? Who's in the box? Dezer's got his hand up. He's looking for a delivery, but too much. And Cheney tries to take on too many.
He tried a little bit too much, Paul. He gets himself in a good position, right-hand side of the field. He's trying to get onto his left. Rangers have got 4 bodies in the box there, but Celtic now on the attack again.
Kyogo through, but it's just too much on it.
Yeah. See, but I think the two key differences as well between Rangers and Celtic. Celtic are very good in terms of when they get the ball centrally and then transition rapidly. That has led to a couple of clear one-on-ones for Celtic. Rangers seem to work around the outsides to then try and come in. And it's shown it's not as potent, and Celtic have created more chances.
70 minutes gone, and it's also exactly 2 o'clock. So Rangers, the headline now at 2.
Journey's overdoing it now.
2-0.
He's trying to do
Journey
too
is,
much.
yeah.
He's trying to do too much.
And he's not going to run away
Here
from
comes
people,
Celtic.
John.
Long ball forward for Kyogo. He's got Alistair Johnson in supports. Kyogo, edge of the box, into the box.
Wrong choice.
Was it a chip or was it a cross? And it's cleared. So I think Kyogo may well.
A book in,
Yeah.
another book in. Who's this time? Was it Tati?
It was a wee pull there, wasn't it, in the jersey of Jefty? There's no need for that, John, was there really?
There wasn't really. Jefty wasn't really. It's Coon who gets booked. Jefty's not really going anywhere. He's in the left back position, and it's a bit of a wasteful booking, really,
isn't it?
by Coon.
Maybe time for Forrest as. Maybe.
Forrest will definitely get
He's
opportunity.
angry there, Brendan Rodgers, because you're looking at
2v1.
Kyogo, who's been brilliant. Just got to take that little bit more care on the pass, and Celtic are in 2v1.
And of course, you don't want to go down to 10 men. You get a silly booking, do one little thing,
No, and like I says, we both play. I want to see 11v11 on the field.
of course.
You
Yeah.
definitely want to see that. I mean, Coon picks up a yellow card there, and again, I would have no issue if it wasn't a yellow card. The only reason he's got it because he's just tugged on the jersey.
Long ball forward for Rangers. Kasper Schmeichel does well. Shepherd it out of play as Sterling was charging forward. He's got a bit of pace. Yep, James Forrest coming on.
Paul,
Cool enough.
you've got a chance in this game.
And Nicholas
Cool
Kuhn.
enough.
Yeah.
Cool enough.
So is he
He's
done
done
all
a
right
good
for you?
game. He's
Yeah.
done very well. I
Yeah.
think he's been a threat down that right-hand side. He's used the ball really well, and I think he's passed it when he's needed to. When he needs to run out of play and get across in, he's done that. I think he's had a good game. You can see the Celtic supporters there giving him... I don't know whether that's for James Forrest coming on.
It is. It's
or
his
whether it's
500th
going
appearance,
on.
as you know, John. 500
outstanding.
appearances for Jamesy Forrest.
It was.
Isn't it phenomenal?
100 goals, 100 assists.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful?
Not many can say
some player, second most decorated in the history of Celtic. It was only the man who was, what was he, 81 the other day? Bobby Lennox, MBE,
Wow.
who is the most decorated Celtic player. Who played in the 60s, 70s and the 80s. Saltcoat's finest, Ayrshire finest. What a lovely man Bobby Lennox is.
Brilliant guy. Been lucky to meet a lot of the Lisbon Lions, but
Yeah,
no more finer than Bobby Lennox.
For sure.
The legend, the great.
yep. As Rangers now. So still in it, Celtic leading by 2-0, 72 and a half minutes gone. Yep, there we are, 500 appearances for James Forrest, 24 major trophies.
Look at the assist goals.
Isn't that amazing?
Incredible.
Yeah, phenomenal. So we're watching it on Sky. Paul Cooney, lucky to be in the company of anyone, but particularly John Hartson
Yeah. Do you see my stats
and
there,
Craig Moore.
Paul?
Yeah,
110 goals, 20 assists.
yeah. That's right, yeah.
And he's like a James
Yeah.
Forrest. Now, I'm only
Yeah.
joking. I think it's more than 20.
I'm sure.
But,
They didn't record them as
I
much.
wasn't assisting too much.
Here is James
too
Forrest in the ball.
selfish.
Look at the space he's got. Look at the pace. What a lovely ball through to Dyson Maida. Maida receives now down the left. He's 30, 25 yards out, 20 yards out, back to James Forrest. Forrest, edge of the box. Lines up for a shot. It cannons off for a Rangers player, off Sterling. Comes back for Forrest. Who's he got? He's got Kyogo next to him. He's got Johnson, the overlap. Goes for the shot.
Shout
Is
for
it a handball?
Shout for a penalty.
So Rangers clear.
VAR will look at that.
VAR will be checking.
So they've just got to play on play to the whistle
Yep.
at the moment. Rangers are now breaking out at Celtic's back four.
Tom Lawrence to the edge of the box.
A good tackle.
I think
good
there's a
tackle.
couple of things to look at. There's the penalty.
Foul, penalty
Yes.
and handball.
It's handball and there's the foul.
Yeah, maybe.
But John, at the other end, here comes Celtic again. Celtic down the right. Just the pace has just dropped a little bit.
Stretched
hasn't
the
it?
game.
Yeah.
The game has stretched a bit though, Paul. You can see that it is pretty much end to end the last few minutes.
Yep. James Forrest plays it out to the new player, Engels, Arnie Engels. I think they are checking some things as if the players are waiting to hear if anything's going to be pulled
Waiting for
back.
the ball to
I wouldn't
go
have
out
thought
of
so. Here's Kyogo. Kyogo deep out to the right to James Forrest. He's got Johnson in the overlap and he tries to thread it through, but it's picked up by Jefty. Who's
The
look at
reaction.
Maeda, look at the pace of
reaction to go and
Maeda.
win the ball.
Yep, here comes Callum McGregor shooting where he did last week. What a goal! Callum McGregor 3-0. It's like the goal he scored last week. He's done it again, the captain. 75 minutes gone, Celtic 3, Rangers 0.
Oh, what a goal. Callum McGregor picks it up about 25 yards out, shifts it onto his left foot, dummies, shifts it again, and he hits it, and it's a rocket. It's a rocket to the right side of Butland's goal. 3-0. Callum McGregor, you've got to get a blocking from a Rangers point of view, but what a strike from the captain.
How much did he enjoy that, John? You can just see it there. Here's the replay coming up, Craig, from
Again, Rangers will be really, really disappointed. You can't take anything away from McGregor. That's a wonderful strike. You actually, I don't know if it starts outside the post. It's got a little bit of tail, and that's a great finish. But it starts from Maeda's reaction.
Little deflection as well, I think, off Sterling there.
That's what puts a curl on it. But it starts from Maeda, his reaction. Rangers have got the ball deep in their half. They get caught with the ball by Maeda, working ever so hard to win the ball. McGregor, I think that's his third goal from outside the box already in the last few weeks. But a 3-0 game finished. Really disappointing goal for Rangers to concede, but McGregor, a great strike as they're making a double substitution.
former Dundee captain, Luke McCowan. And the Celtic favourite scored the winner in the cup final in May, Adam
Ida.
Yeah.
And have we got one more there? It looked as if I maybe seen a third substitute there as well.
Yeah,
Oh, you might be
Maybe.
right. Yeah.
McCowan for Hitachi. I think it'll be Kyogo for Ida.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's only two there that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Hatati and Kyogo,
I see
Ida and
Ida.
McCown. John, what a moment for, let's say, Luke McCown, boyhood Celtic
Brilliant.
fan apparently, Dundee captain, started so well, and then last minute he's in Glasgow. Hibs wanted him as well, but he and you're on
he
the Old
wants
Firm
to
game.
go to his boyhood heroes, but also he has to back himself to get some games. You know, he's up against a seriously strong midfield, but I'm sure he's come on today. He's somebody that Brendan Rodgers would obviously likes. Got him in the group, and it's down to McCowan now to try and force himself in. You don't want to go to a club, Paul, when you're playing 5-6 games a season, you know. And I think he's got the ability to force himself in. Do you know?
And his captain was just telling him what he's looking for just now. Craig, so it's happy days for Celtic at the moment. 77 minutes. Rangers, what did he do now? Did they try and hold it at 3 or?
Damage limitation. It really is, and try and finish the game as strong as you possibly can. This is a sore one, Paul. They're gonna be hurting, and they're gonna be taking a bit of flack, you know, players and coach on the back of this, because once again Celtic have shown that they're making very, very good progress, and at the moment Rangers seem to be being left behind. So they've got to really try and dig deep.
As Rangers come forward, chance through for Dessers. He's got Carter Vickers with him. He's got two Celtic players on him. Plays it back to McCausland. McCausland up, chips it to the far post for Tavernier. Shot from Tavernier. Great save by Schmeichel. It's going to be a corner.
Good save. Well worked down the left-hand side by Rangers. Ball comes into the far post. Tav gets a good strike off. Schmeichel makes a good save. Quick corner.
Into the box.
Chaney with his right foot.
It's a save that you'd expect.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep my like with Schmeichel's quality to make. It's come. I don't think Tavernier catches it as sweet as he would have liked into the ground, but it's right at the body of Kasper Schmeichel, and he palms it out for a corner.
Just trying to big it up a wee bit for the radio, John. Keep the excitement going there. One destroyed. What a save.
Down in instalments, like you say.
Indeed,
It was comfortable for Schmeichel, wasn't it? It was a comfortable save.
Yeah, it was.
Well, John, there's the Celtic fans doing the Poznan.
Yeah,
so they're
happy today,
on
Paul.
the
I
back.
think most of them turned up expecting to win. Not sure if they expected to be as comfortable as what they've had.
Craig, I know
It has been comfortable. Like I said, I mean, Rangers have had moments, Paul, in terms of the start of the first half. They've had a chance or two in the second half, but over the course of the match, Celtic have been well worthy of their comfy margin at this moment in time.
Craig, your old club, they need investment. Nothing much been said about it. It was poo-pooed last week, American investment. Dave King, who is the major shareholder, or not the biggest shareholder, but he said, no, not my shareholder. But something needs to happen.
Definitely.
You can't put it just at the
But looking at it today,
at the
Paul,
manager.
You know, Dessers it's been hard for him because he's been a bit isolated up there. But you look at what Celtic have got now. Ida, they've got Kyogo, and they've also got Maeda, who can play through the middle. Have Rangers got many options in terms of a centre forward that can play right down the middle of the park, other than Dessers? Who else can play there?
Triple change, John. We'll come back to that in a moment or two. There's Leon Balogun, there's Danilo, and also Raskan. So there's Robin Proper going off. His first Old Firm game. Yep, so Balogun, we're going to see Igamani as well. He's coming on. Actually, it's Igamani. Yeah, we haven't seen him, have we?
I haven't seen Igamani.
I haven't seen him at all. Yep. So, and it's Sterling, Czerny, Proper going off. Sorry, John, just to update there.
So you're asking, John, so in terms of a striker that's through the middle, look, Rangers,
it looks like they need one of them.
Absolutely, but that's why I think
they create enough chances, Craig. They create a lot of opportunities. It's just today they haven't taken them.
I just think that in terms of the finances, the ownership, Paul, I think, would definitely, the Rangers need someone with deep pockets. I feel sorry for Dessers because I just don't think the Rangers are a team that create, John, anywhere near enough opportunity for him.
Here comes Celtic, the 3 up, but they're still going. Luke McCown gets one of his first touches, plays it back to James Forrest, but it's one there. So it's Rangers now coming out of defence. Igamani did well there, played it to Tom Lawrence. Lawrence forward to Dessers. He's got CCV on him. So it's Cyril Dessers, nice one. Gets round CCV, into the box, goes all the way, actually never gives up, but eventually is cleared by Celtic out to James Forrest, his 500th appearance for Celtic. Something you don't see very often. Somebody, one-man club, all his career.
You don't see
isn't
it.
You don't see that. You used to see it quite a lot in 20, 30 years ago. But Nowadays, if you have 5 or 6 bad games, and somebody comes in for you, generally on the move again.
That's right. As Rangers now trying to, 3-0, but they'll try and hold this, or try to snatch something that makes it look, more respectable.
Well, if anything, Paul, it would be a consolation goal as it sits at this moment. But again, that's what Rangers need to strive to try and get.
Yep.
It's going to be a long season. The transfer window has closed, so the supporters have to get behind. They have to get behind the team, and they know that this is going to be a project as such. And this team will need the support because they've been, I would say, well off it today.
Yeah.
Celtic have been far better.
Yeah. Will the manager get the
funds,
the big support that he's looking for? Will all supporters? I don't think they will. He's got to start winning games. He's got to start beating Celtic sooner or later, because the fans, I don't care, will get disgruntled. So in terms of that, Craig, you can have money, you can bring, you can lose ones, but you've got to start getting results against your big rivals.
Here come Rangers down the left as we'll play it back to you in a moment or two. It's into the box, headed away by Cameron Carter-Vickers, headed down then by Forrest to Alistair Johnson. Intricate play by Celtic, confident, but they've lost the ball there. Very good tackle. Here's Raskan. Raskan showing a bit of invention and tenacity. So it's still Rangers. Back to Conor Barron. Barron, a chance for Rangers. Shot, but way over the top.
25-yard strike from Raskin. Why not? But you're right, Paul. It doesn't hit the target. Who are we seeing there? One of the actors.
An actor, famous.
Christopher Waltz.
Waltz from the Bond. He was a Bond villain. Christopher Waltz. Do you remember him?
Yeah, top actor. Top actor. But yeah, John, you were asking in terms of, by the way, there's going to be a lot of noise after this match, and even towards the manager is what you're saying, because you're right. This is the game that you need to be winning. Philip Clement hasn't, and there's still showing to be quite a big gap at this moment in time between Rangers and Celtic.
We'll talk more later, but the question would be for him, surely, is this what he signed up for, Philip Clement? Because there's been very little money to spend this summer. We know last year under Michael Beale, it was nearly 20 million.
Journey, Jeffy, proper.
Okay. John, here comes Celtic. We'll talk at full time to Adam Ida, getting one of his first touches. The Celtic fans love him. Now an Ireland international striker. Plays it to Carter-Vickers. Out to the right, familiar figure of James Forrest, Scottish international, of course, named in the squad for Poland on Thursday. And why he didn't play against Hungary, what Scots fans just don't understand. Why is he there not played? As Celtic come forward again. 3 up, going for number 4. McGregor, the captain, who scored the third, plays it right. But it's a poor ball. A few of them falling there because it's been wet earlier this afternoon. As Rangers come forward, McCausland tried to get it through there, but it falls. Second ball for Lawrence. Lawrence to the far post, but that's going to be easily picked up by Kasper Schmeichel.
We just look at it today. Cherney, Jeffy, Proper, Barron, the 4 signings that Clement has brought in, they've been very average today.
You feel, Craig, you agree?
Sure. They've not what you'd say is impressed. I don't think Clement's going to go home and say, do you know what, he done well today. Am I right, Craig, in that sense?
You know what, I think the biggest criticism, unfortunately, for Rangers is the word consistency. And it's been in Clement's time. It's even in this game.
Here's a chance,
as they have a chance, and it's
McCausland.
Can't shoot from there. He's shooting from a ridiculous angle, McCausland.
Celtic were slack, but it's still back with McCausland. It's going to be a corner kick to Rangers. We'll do the 08, 17, 700, 5 minutes to go, as they're showing you a man they could do with. Barry Ferguson sitting there in the director's box.
He will be fuming. He will be absolutely fuming as well.
Yeah, it is, because there's nobody prouder. And what a record, one of the great all-time great Rangers players and captains. And my goodness, Craig, they need somebody like that. So, his attitude with all of you, and I know you had it too, in the dressing room. McCausland and might have been told, right, calm down, you two. 5 minutes plus stoppage to go. No point in getting a booking. So it's going to be the ball for Rangers. We see Kasper Schmeichel give us the wide shot. Here it comes. Corner kick. Tavernier. Good one right into the box, but it evades everybody. And it falls for Luke McCown. And he wins the throw in for Celtic off Tom Lawrence. So we saw Joe Hart earlier there at the match as well. I see Noel Gallagher was at the Man City match yesterday. Another win for them.
Another hat-trick for Haaland.
It was amazing, wasn't it? Who says he doesn't fit into the system?
He's got more
Amazing.
goals than games.
Yeah.
I think he's got 70 goals in 69 starts.
Oh,
I believe
John, it's
something
phenomenal.
Like that. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. John Hartson and Craig Moore with me, Paul Cooney. If you want to speak to John and to Craig, you know the number: 0808 17 17 700. 3.5 minutes to go, plus what will be 5 minutes or something stoppage with all the subs.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny these days. They're not a dirty game at all, is it?
It hasn't been, Paul.
which is
I mean,
good.
both groups of players have been honest. They've competed like you'd expect in this type of match, but there's been no nastiness in the game at all. And the referee, therefore, has had, I'm sure, a day that he would have enjoyed in terms of the decisions he's had to make.
Goals came from Maeda, Kyogo and McGregor. As Celtic in possession again, it's been knocked about in the midfield. So Forrest to McGregor to Maeda. I tell you, Maeda covers just about every inch of grass, doesn't he? On the pitch, plays it back to Scales just plays it forward for Taylor to Luke McCown, who's got the blonde locks as well. They've got a few of them there, haven't they?
Yeah.
As Rangers now trying to come forward, trying to get a goal, albeit a consolation with 2.5 minutes to go.
Carter Vickers has just gone down there and look, maybe he's getting himself back up.
Yep.
Doesn't look too bad.
Okay. Got to watch that. He missed training one day during the week, but the manager said he's not necessarily spotted there every single day. Yep, he's still holding his left.
You know what's happened? He's probably, just as he's headed there, sometimes you can come down on a player's boot and you come down on an unlevel surface. Maybe just rolled his ankle a little bit.
Hazy, how's that surface there? At Celtic should be immaculate. I was at Fairhill yesterday.
Yeah.
It was looking great.
No,
Big win for the Jags.
very good.
In the derby against Queen's Park. Had some good moments, but it was Partick Thistle's day. It's Celtic's day today. Yeah, it was 3-0 there yesterday. And what are you laughing at? So, Gary.
No, I'm trying to
there.
watch in there, and he's trying to set up.
Sorry,
set up
that's
shop.
right. The camera's getting in the way there of Craig because I wondered why. So, it's Rangers now coming forward down the right. McCausland's going to be. Is it? No. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick.
It might even be a yellow card.
Yeah. Greg Taylor. Great. Yep.
Just because it's a block,
card.
Paul.
Yeah,
because
sure.
McCausland's played it by
he's got the
him.
advantage.
He can get it the other side. Taylor's professional foul, so the referee's made the right call there. Greg Taylor picks up a yellow card with 88 minutes on the clock.
Anyone not been booked, and we'll try and sort it out in the next 4 or 5 minutes.
No sending offs anyway, Paul.
That's it. And it's going to be James Tavernier. Right hand up, he's looking. So he sees Dessers is up there. Who else is there? John Suter, right footed, into the edge of the box. It's headed down, still around the box. Callum McGregor lets it to take one bounce and then just clears. But it's Rangers again. Back to Tavernier. But it's Maeda. Look at Maeda everywhere. Still tackling and winning a foul. Winning the foul is James Tavernier. It's that kind of tenacity that's needed, though, isn't it?
It's a bit, yeah.
He just doesn't stop, you know, and that was, again, one of the things that we heard about Maeda when he first come, Paul. Maybe technically not unbelievable, but his work ethic is incredible.
Brendan always trusts him in these games, doesn't he? Trusts him, his work rate, his ability to score goals as well.
Yeah.
His first goal was excellent. The position that he took up on the finish,
He's kind of
very good.
unsung hero, John, isn't he? And, you
Well,
know,
he is, but I think now, Paul, he's proved himself, more than proved himself. The Celtic fans, you know, give him the credit that he deserves.
Yeah.
He's got goals.
Respect.
Absolutely.
You're right, John.
I think he's earned that, and now he's one of the mainstays in the Celtic team, which is a very good side now.
For sure. And he scored the first goal, which can be all important because Rangers
Massive.
had their moments. I mean, Rangers were started really well. Celtic a bit wasteful there, so Rangers, can they get a consolation? We've played the 90 minutes. It falls to Cyril Dessers. Dessers there in a tussle. Is that a free kick? No, referee says play on. It comes off Callum McGregor. Maeda's back. We're just talking about him there. He's back defending. He's just nodded it out of play. It's going to be a throw in. 4 minutes added on.
Yeah, John Beaton's added 4 minutes, or the assistant ref, but it's more like put Rangers out than misery now, isn't it? You know, why 4 minutes?
Just a subs. You know, nowadays I think automatically, John, with the amount of subs, you do 3 or 4 minutes. Obviously, both teams have used quite a lot of their subs.
0808 17 17 700. John Hartson on Celtic's victory, 3 up at the moment, and Craig Moore for Rangers. How do they regroup? And it's going to be a long season, but Rangers coming forward, still trying to get a goal. It's lobbed forward by Tom Lawrence. It's going to go out of play, and it's going to be the the goal kick. Kasper Schmeichel. He's not had much to do, has he, really? I'm trying to think. I mean, a couple of
moments, but Rangers have had their moments. It's just that Celtic have been a little bit more clinical. Celtic have had maybe more moments in the game, better chances, and they've just been convincing. They've been clinical, and it's been comfortable, really, 3-0. But as I said, the only way that Rangers could upset Celtic today or get something if they'd scored early or if they'd been more clinical themselves in front of the goal. But they haven't offered too much up in terms of defensively. They've been poor defensively. They conceded really poor goals.
2 minutes of injury time to go, just over 2 minutes. The Celtic are in the Rangers half. There's Engels. I bet he's lost the ball. Was there a push there? There's another yellow card? How many yellows have we got, Gary? There's
quite a few.
Many. That's the who's getting the yellow card on that one. So
I think that was Engels that maybe
I think
picked up
it
the
was,
yellow card.
Yellow.
Yes, Arnie Engels is in the book. Yellow card. Not sure there was that much in that, was there really? So, but anyway, here come Rangers. Connor Barron gives everything, doesn't he? Sweeps it out to the right to James Tavernier. Tavernier into the box. Oh, almost at the head. There's still a chance. Another strike. Still there. Must be a goal. No, it's cleared by Celtic. That was 3 chances in quick succession there for Rangers, and they're still in possession, edge of the box. Luke McCown clears for Celtic. Long ball upfield, but it's headed down by John Souttar. Only as far as Dyson Maida. Maida fires one forward. Adam Ida alongside Souttar back to Jack Butland. John, Brendan Rodgers would be raging if they lost a goal this late in the game.
A few players had the chance to score, McCausland in particular, but fair play, Celtic got across. They defended with their lives and determined to keep that record of not conceding a goal in the league this season.
Here come Rangers though. It's Lawrence. Lawrence down to the byline, plays it straight to the goalkeeper.
Look at the two
Kasper
that he can
Schmeichel.
cut it back to, Lawrence.
Get your head up.
Oh
Craig.
my God, edge of the box, you've got.
We're just seeing
It's
this.
a replay.
the
We were
chances.
talking about Schmeichel not having to make too many saves. He made a good one there, come out with his legs, spread himself. McCausland, as we're having a footage of Joe Hart there as well, who I'm sure is a lot happier than what I am at this moment in time.
Smiling, yeah. I mean, what about Tom Lawrence there? What a chance to
pick Taven. I'm not sure. There was someone else, 2 Rangers players on the edge of the box.
That's about getting your head up and seeing things, and at this stage of the game, they're 3-0 down. They're just searching for something, and if Tom had got his head up there, he might have picked somebody out.
10 seconds remaining. Celtic in command. The ball's played to Liam Scales. Scales to Luke McCown. McCown out to Greg Taylor. Back to Scales.
He's been good
that's
today.
it.
Scales has been very good today.
Celtic 3, Rangers 0. The goals coming from Maida in 16 minutes. Then the second from Kyogo in 40. McGregor sealed it in 75 minutes. So another win for Celtic. John Hartson.
Yeah, a really big win for Celtic when it really mattered today against their big rivals. Yes, they were favourites, but they still got to go out and deliver. I thought he was convincing. The strikers, in particularly Kyogo, looked really, really sharp. Scored a brilliant goal. Paul, I don't even know who to give man of the match to. I think there was 4 or 5 outstanding performances in that Celtic team. Rangers had their moments. Again, they couldn't capitalise, and when Celtic had the big moments in the game, they managed to score. And then 3-0, I thought, over the piece, Paul, I think it was fairly comfortable for Celtic.
Celtic fans, what do you think? 08, 08, 17, 17, 700 as the captain, Callum McGregor, congratulates a number of the players. There's Hatate coming back on, who had some moments. There's Deza speaking with the referee, not happy about something, but it wasn't a controversial game by any manner of means. There's the captain just going around all the Celtic players. Craig Moore, a big win for Celtic.
Yeah, it was
a tough afternoon for Rangers.
Very, very much so. Again, leading into the match, I think everyone was kind of the opinion that Celtic have got a stronger squad, a stronger team than Rangers, but you still need to go out and prove that. Rangers started well in the match, but it was for 5 or 10 minutes, Paul, and Celtic were ruthless. And again, what they've done is been quick out of the traps most games this season, scoring in the 16th minute. And you could see the confidence go right through the Celtic team. Created the bigger chances, the best moments. Okay, yes, Rangers did have opportunities, but again, for Philip Clement, he will be coming away scratching his head thinking, how do I improve this team? How do I take this team forward? Because it showed that there's still quite a big gap between Celtic and Rangers at this moment in time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That is, Rangers have backed Clement. They've, and to be fair, Rangers have had to sell a lot of their big players, a lot of their big earners, their experienced players. But he's been given a little bit of money. He's brought in several players, whether they're up to standard, whether at the quality of actually playing for Rangers in these big testing games, if you like, where you have to be at your best. Time will tell in terms of how his new signings will do. But Celtic, Paul, riding the crest of a wave, just about to go into the biggest club competition in the world in terms of the Champions League. So there's a real feel-good factor around Celtic at the minute, and obviously questions to be answered with regards to this Rangers team.
0808 17 17 700 on an afternoon when Celtic win the derby 3-0.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go!
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts. Call 0808 17 17 700.
Let's go!
Celtic players still out there after winning 3-0 in the derby this afternoon against Rangers, of course. Craig Moore and John Hartson, 0808 17 17 700. John, a question coming in here from Stevie saying, would any of the Rangers players get in your starting 11 of Celtic this afternoon?
No, I'm being honest. I don't think they would. If you can bring up a Rangers player and we can debate it, but I don't even think honestly there's a debate. You could say, well, Rangers fans might come back and say, well, Butland, but no. Kasper Schmeichel again has kept another clean sheet. He's made a brilliant save from a Korsland late on. Butland was completely in the wrong area when Kyogo's side-footed one past him for 28 yards. So clearly it's a brilliant finish, but Butland's got to be looking at his starting position. And the answer is, Paul, Chris Boyd has just said, I don't agree with Chris Boyd all the time, but I've got to be honest, Chris Boyd have just said it there on Sky Sports. There's not one Rangers player that could get in Celtic's team.
Craig Moore?
It's hard to argue with that, Paul. It really is. Again, I just think it's showing the gap at this moment in time between Rangers and Celtic. Again, Celtic probably didn't have a standout performer today, but I think across the board they were good. Rangers huffed and puffed, first 5 or 10 minutes of the first half, a little bit of a spell, but just nowhere near good enough. And for the supporters, I really feel for the supporters because, as we said, the window's closed now. So this is a team that they've got to try and support and hope can improve their performances.
There were key moments, weren't there, John, that Celtic didn't start brilliantly. First 5 or 10 minutes looked not as assured as normal.
No, they're almost trying to work their way into the team, Paul, just see what maybe Rangers had to offer.
Yeah.
And I think early in the game, Rangers started the game well. They wanted to play in Celtic's half, played a few long balls in there, and they had a decent chance earlier on from Tavernier's free kick. And then when Celtic decided to take over, they flew into a 2-0 lead. 2-0 at half-time. Rangers are thinking, well, how do we get back in this game? They had their moments, but Celtic had maybe more moments. If you talk about Rangers' his chances, well, Celtic doubled that chance. And if they'd have took their chances today, it could have been 4-5. Maybe 4-5-1 or 4-5-2. Yeah. But still saying, and as I said, I thought Celtic were very, very convincing today.
I think Paul, the route to goal for Celtic, and don't get me wrong, it come off the back of maybe hard work, but they'd win it in key areas in the middle of the park, and it was one pass, and then Celtic were clear through on goal. Yet for Rangers, when they were in similar situations, it seems so much harder to get close to the opponent's goal. So that's where Celtic were very good, and I say that's where Rangers were very poor.
Billy's on saying 0808 17 17 700. He came on with a voice note and he's saying, Craig, what are Rangers going to do? Who is there that's come in? Other players who can help to bridge this gap? Because he, having watched today, doesn't think it's going to happen.
Well, again, I think, unfortunately, when you look at the two squads, Celtic, for me, are absolute shoo-ins for the title. Rangers are going to be work in progress, which is hard to take for a lot of the supporters because that's never been the way at the football club. But unfortunately, they're just going to have to try and support this team and watch them improve over the season because they're not good enough to be competing for the title.
Pass marks today, he's asking in the Rangers team. I'm just looking at Butland you mentioned there, but he was probably out of position for the first one. So
he was, but he made a good save, didn't he, in the second half, the late one when he had to get down to the left. Look, I thought Barron was honest enough. He works extremely hard. Diamande I thought was okay as well.
It's hard, Paul. It's hard.
It's
When you're clutching at straws now, Rangers have been battered 3-0 and you're thinking, done well, pass marks. But for me, are you concerned? Are you bothered about pass marks? They've been hammered 3-0 and then they all need to look at themselves in the mirror and they've all got to get back to getting into a position where they can start winning games again. The manager's got to stamp down on the ones that he feels he can trust, and today it looks like he can't trust any of them. They were that bad today.
And we're talking about player pass marks. I think there'll be a lot of fans. Well, what are does the manager get pass marks?
Good shout.
For selection, substitution, style of play? Again, these are all questions, and they're valid questions, Paul.
Sure, good questions.
That are going to
But what
come to the
else
club.
can he do, Craig, in terms of changing or maybe tinking with the formation? Because he's only got what he has to choose from. Are you saying it like anybody on the Rangers bench today? Could they come on?
Exactly.
He made changes. It didn't seem to make a difference.
But what I would say, John, is just looking at that game today and for the way that Rangers wanted to play that game, being high up the park, defensively they're not quick enough. When you're leaving, when you want to defend high, right, you leave a lot of space behind you. You need quick defenders. So again, in terms of recruitment, in terms of what's played there, I think there needs to be more thought in terms of how, especially in this particular game, how you're going to set up. Today wasn't a successful way to set up.
Liam's been on saying, John, what about Callum McGregor?
Outstanding. He led by example, skipper, a real captain's performance. Kept the ball, drove forward, got back behind the ball when he needed to. Wonderful strike with the goal to make it 3-0. And he's an incredible player. And I think Scotland must be devastated that they haven't got him to pick from anymore. He made that decision. That's his prerogative. But listen, I've always felt that Callum McGregor has been a wonderful player. And he showed it again today. He's the first name on Brendan Rodgers' team sheet. He's reliable, he's classy, he speaks well. And he's since Scott Brown left the club and he was given the armband, he hasn't looked back. If anything, he's took his game on a level, Paul.
He has. Phenomenal, isn't he? James Tavernier, he must be hoping that Maida, it was too late now, isn't it? He will have nightmares about Maida. People said that before the game here. But this is the toughest match for him.
Yeah, especially, he always has these tussles with Maeda. Maeda, we know, never gives Tavernier an inch and, probably has him for pace and all that sort of stuff and causes him a lot of problems. But again, for me, this game's not about the Tavernier. And I just think that the gap between the two teams at this moment is probably the biggest I've seen. For me, it was a tough watch because Celtic do just look that comfortable. And I just think that Rangers, can be so much better. Just in terms of the moments in the game and defending better. There's things that I've seen old firm game after old firm game that are still happening, Paul, that haven't been rectified. So, well, just in terms of the first goal, the passage of play, the rotations. That's for me. Rangers do have video analysis and lots of stuff. That's just repeating the same mistakes, which is poor.
And the second goal from Kyogo, which we've just seen there on Sky. He took it brilliantly, Craig, but from a Rangers point of view, he gets so much space.
Well, again, you're right, but Taylor, he wins the ball in a good area, forward pass, but Kyogo then has the ability to turn, and there's not a Rangers central defender within 15 yards. And then you can touch on Butland's position and all that sort of stuff. But so again, there's a lot of things that need to be tighter that can improve, but Celtic well-deserved winners for their 3-0 win.
John, the Callum McGregor goal, take us through it for those missing who didn't see it, or maybe they're in the cars heading home now.
It takes a slight deflection, I've got to say that, but he strikes it really, really well, and I think maybe Butland might have struggled anyway to save it. But what the deflection does, it just pushes it closer to the far post. Butland's out of reach, and it just squeezes itself into that far post. It's still a great strike. Celtic needed it at the time. Rangers were not so much putting under a lot of pressure, not putting, but they were threatening once or twice in the game. So that third goal from Callum McGregor completely killed the game off, and it made it quite a comfortable afternoon for Celtic.
John, criticism coming in of Rangers, quite rightly, given the way they're playing. For Celtic now, what's next? Because the title ain't over, but it's looking really good if they continue to play. Europe, how much are you looking forward to? And my question really is, how good are the signings? I know it's early, but with the window closed now, are you feeling that with these 8 games coming up in the Champions League, Celtic can get some wins, get back to winning at Celtic Park, given the draw?
Well, what they've done is Celtic, they've got cover. They've got a lot of cover now, and they've got a really good squad when they need it, when they need to change, when they need to make changes during games as well. You can give players a rest, because obviously still in 4 competitions. Champions League can play quite heavy on the legs because you're doing a lot of travelling, maybe on Tuesday, Wednesdays, coming back and playing then again on a Saturday. So what Brendan Rodgers has, he's got quality players now, almost 2 players for each position, Paul. And that's what managers want in terms of adding to their group. They think they've added some really good players. Engels got on today, did okay. Vala, a left-back cover for Taylor. Vala might even get in as first choice. We saw today Ida coming on for Kyogo. You got Ralston there. He hasn't made many changes on that right side, but he's got Forrest today who come on for Coon. So Celtic now have got options. They've made 6 or 7 new signings. They got another fantastic keeper in Schmeichel. So that could be arguably the best signing that Celtic have made.
Do you reckon?
I think so. He's right up there to replace someone like Joe Hart. So they got momentum. They are riding the crest of a wave. There's a feel-good factor there. They've just beaten Rangers. They go into the Champions League now with a good feel. They have a massive crowd at Celtic Park. Whether or not they can test the best clubs in the world, we'll have to see that.
Austin Trusty as well, of course, there. Craig, do you think Celtic are shaping up as a good team for Champions League?
Well, I think the league that they've been drawn in, I think they've got a great opportunity, Paul. I think it's a good league. I think Celtic have got a real spring in their step, a real swagger about the way that they're playing. And I probably think that this season, I think they're probably equipped as best as they have been. So I expect them to do well in the league. I think it's a good round of games for them.
John, I think you called it right. Sky have given it to Callum McGregor, the man of the match, which I think we suggested a few moments ago. Yes, Celtic in Europe, they've got Leipzig, RB Leipzig at home. They've got Club Bruges at home, Young Boys of Bern at home, and Slovan Bratislava at home. They're away to Dortmund. It's going to be some game, isn't it? Atalanta in Italy. Zagreb, they're off to there as well. And also Birmingham for Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's a great game. But you look at Atalanta, they were the only team last season to beat Bayer Leverkusen, was it? Europa League final.
Yeah.
So they're a good side, Atalanta. But there's teams like Bratislava, maybe Leipzig, maybe 1 or 2 others that Celtic can look at in the home fixtures and say, by the way, we can win these games.
Absolutely, John. I think the 4 home matches that Celtic have that you touched on there, I think that they will be extremely confident that they could potentially take maximum points.
Look at that determination in the face of Callum McGregor. I used to see that when Richard Gough was captain at Rangers in the tunnel up against a really good Celtic team, but there was a confidence and a determination, a steely look.
Yeah, and again, look, McGregor was excellent again, and when Rangers weren't necessarily in the game at 2-0, but again, it gives him no hope when he gets that third goal, Paul, and puts it beyond doubt. So he's playing good stuff. The not playing international football, not great for Scotland, but amazing for Celtic because they've now got someone that's fresh and ready for them every week.
Absolutely, and what I like about Callum McGregor, he's a bit like Henrik Larsson in the sense that he doesn't rest on his laurels. He wants to get better and better every week. He's outstanding as a player, but he wants more. He wants more trophies. He wants more better performances from his teammates, and his consistency. Because he's been so good, if he's slightly off, people are saying, well, Callum McGregor wasn't quite that. It's only because he's raised the bar in terms of his own performances, Paul. And when he is slightly off, people are going, oh, McGregor wasn't quite at it today, because they're so used to seeing him play at a high level. So he plays an awful lot of games during the season. That's maybe one of the reasons he stopped playing for the international team, because he wants to concentrate on performing and being captain for his club, but his consistency levels are just unbelievable.
0808 17 17 700. John Hartson's here, along with Craig Moore.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go. Let's go.
Celtic dominate the derby, 3-goal victory this afternoon. You know the story already. Maeda scoring first, Kyogo second, and the third from man of the match, Callum McGregor. So the inquest's going on. You can see it in social media, Craig, the Rangers fans. But first, John, Celtic fans so happy. So they're top of the table, joint with Aberdeen. Celtic 4 games, 4 wins, goals for 12, goals against 0.
Yeah, in great form, in particular, great form. Finished last season in brilliant form. And again, they've started off like a train, haven't they? That first goal, the pass from Bernardo, the little lift, Alistair Johnson with a desire to get to the goal line, cuts it back, and Maeda just arriving at the right time, like we see him doing a lot, and it's a great finish. Just seeing the goals again now. This time it's Kyogo, finds himself in a load of space where he can turn under no pressure, and it's just a beautiful finish. He must be 25 yards. How does he get the time to side foot that ball in? It's incredibly. He's so gifted. But you'd have to look at Butland's position as well, you know, in terms of Craig. He's give Kyogo an awful lot of room there on that left-hand side, but take nothing away from the finish.
Sure.
No, it's a top finish, and you're right. I think Butland, just because, again, Rangers had the ball, they lose it quickly. It doesn't actually go into the corner, so that gives you an idea of Butland's position.
Proper, where was he at that one, Craig?
He actually, he doesn't get sucked out to Kyogo on the ball because there's a runner off his shoulder, so he has to drop. But again, there's just Rangers were disjointed at that period of time. Kyogo, it was a wonderful finish, Paul.
Aberdeen are joint top, 4 games, 4 wins, 8-4, 2 against. A goal difference of 6, last minute goal. And Kevin Nisbet, okay, early days, but
good way to start.
Yep, start with a goal. Rangers third top, still some games this afternoon, remember. 4 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat, 8-4, 4 against, 7 points. Motherwell also on 7 points. Dundee on 6 points. Dundee United playing this afternoon, they're on 5, they're up against Hearts. So if they were to win, they could leapfrog Rangers and Motherwell. St Mirren on 4 after the draw yesterday. St Johnstone on 3. Ross County on 2. That was cruel. 97th minute goal, as we mentioned. Hearts on 1 point. They have to win this afternoon. It's massive. Hibs 1 point. What's happened to Edinburgh? Also for them, they've got a big game at Kilmarnock. And Kilmarnock, bottom of the table. We know they've had the European football, but my goodness, Derek McInnes will be desperate today. A lot of Rangers fans are on saying, what's going to happen? Jack Butland must be thinking, what? Where am I? What has happened? Philippe Clement, what's he thinking? But he signed a new contract, 3 weeks ago? And a lot of people saying, where is the investment? What are the board going to do about it? You can't keep sacking managers.
Well, you know, you can't. And I'm scratching my head as to what the direction is going to be at Rangers and what is needed. And I think new ownership, I just think that the current crop have maybe done what they've been able to do, Paul, but I think it's a stage now where Rangers need somebody with deep pockets because the gap between Rangers and Celtic at the moment is getting bigger and bigger financially, and it's a huge, if you're a Rangers supporter, it needs to be a huge concern. So new ownership for me, again, you still need to be smart with your recruitment. That is very, very important. But Rangers don't have the money, and therefore the gap is getting bigger, unfortunately.
Kevin Muscat was the other choice, wasn't he? It was between. And I know he's a great friend of yours.
My best mate, Paul. But again, Rangers. He had 2 interviews at the time. He lost out, and he was devastated to lose out at the time to Philippe Clement.
Was he devastated?
Yeah, he thought it was a great opportunity for him, and it would have been a great job. But Kevin now is doing very, very well in China with Shanghai Port, and that ship's well and truly sailed.
John, contrast it with Brendan Rodgers. So this time last year, he'd come back. It was quieter when he came back in the summer. People were surprised. But I mean, the football purists thought, well, what a good signing for Celtic, having lost Ange Postecoglou. But my goodness, his guile, his judgment, towards the end of last season. And how would you sum up
that's what Brendan will tell you about himself. He likes working with players on the training ground, Paul. And he likes bringing players in that not the finished article. and he improves them. That's what he's always said. He's a wonder. Everybody will tell you about Brendan Rodgers, tell you lots of things about him, but the one thing they'll always go back to, he's a terrific coach. Loves working with younger players, making them better. That's what he gives you. So now he's got a group of players. As we've said, he's probably got 2 players for each position. And he's added that you don't really know how good they're going to be. Engels and Vala and Macau and all these players. Time will tell, but you look at it when they come into a fabulous Celtic team, you know, they've got half a chance of doing really, really well because, you know, they're joining a great side with you know, they've got that philosophy, that the way they set up, they can change any minute under Brendan. So listen, he's done very, very well. He won the double last season. Looks like they're going to clean up again this season.
Yeah, Brendan had a really good opportunity today to blood players to that environment.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
in what was you're right. What was in the end a comfortable result, the biggest game that you get in the calendar year, obviously domestically. So Celtic are set up and going to be very, very hard to peg back.
It was probably not a great fixture for Rangers when you look at it as a 4th league game of the season. They have to go to Celtic, the champions, and the Rangers haven't sold lots and lots of players, but still, you know, Celtic have come out comfortable winners today.
And Celtic had to do it this time last year, John, as you well remember. You know, they'd gone out, member of the League Cup. Brendan Rodgers' first cup defeat ever in Scotland, because we know we'd been away for 5 years, but 4 years, came back and went to Ibrox. They were the underdogs, but they won. Today, Rangers came as the underdogs, but they lost by a 3-goal margin.
I think that, if I'm not wrong, I think that's 6 wins in the last 7 games. It could be worse than that if you look at the record in itself. Brendan's got an unbelievable record as Celtic manager.
Only lost once against Rangers.
There you go. There you go.
13 wins.
And Rangers, I said before the game, Celtic are now going into games knowing that they've got a fantastic chance of winning. You know, whereas Rangers came today and thinking, well, you're hoping that Celtic play bad. You're hoping that they can really turn it on, but they just didn't manage to do that.
Have they all forgiven Brendan Rodgers now? I think they should.
I think so, Paul. Yeah. Listen, there was disgruntled supporters when he left. There was the same when he come back. But listen, when he did come back, he was probably the best man for the job. And he's going on to prove what a wonderful manager he is. He was successful before he left, by the way. He had back-to-back trebles. But coming back, you know, I would imagine that the fans are absolutely ecstatic with what he's doing right now.
Sure is. Craig, where do Rangers go now? Because the window's shut. So what can they do?
Look, there's only one thing that they can do, and that's to go away and dust themselves down, Paul, and work as hard as they possibly can, and look to build up confidence again by winning other matches. And unfortunately, this match you're always going to get the fallout, and it can be quite strong and it can last. So that's a challenge for the playing group and for the manager. That's the challenge that is very real and staring them in the face.
Let's take a call. Derek, big Rangers fan, is on the line. Good afternoon, Derek.
Hi, good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, Craig, John.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
Craig, I hear you keep saying this afternoon, we'll come to the investment or the ownership of the club in a minute, but you keep saying you can't sack managers. But you've got Diamonde, Cortez, that Albanian thing, Chelsea. I think you've got to look at these signings. They're young boys, and they're no experience. That should have been his first signing. Should have been an experienced midfielder that can control the game. And I think serious questions have got to be asked of the management team. That's 5 games, Craig, without a win against Celtic, and the gap's widening, getting wider and wider and wider. And the £4 million for Diamonde, are you telling me he's a £4 million player and what we've seen of him so far?
No, Dave, I'm not saying that you can't sack managers. And look, the reality is, we know when you're not performing, especially at Rangers, that there is that pressure, and nobody's safe, especially when you continually keep coming up short against your rival. So look, I mean, the manager is definitely under pressure, and I think everybody at the football club is, because the recruitment hasn't hasn't been good enough. I mean, obviously, you know, they were late to the market financially. That plays a role. But I just think tactically, Derek, I think tactically we were well off it today in terms of the way that, you know, we were expected to play. And I talk about the back line. The back line doesn't really have the pace yet. We are quite high, and I just felt we were exposed badly.
So you are being critical of the manager, quite rightly as well,
yes,
in this way.
Yeah.
Paul, sorry for coming in here. Rangers have just given the manager a new 5-year contract.
Yeah, sure.
They have trusted this man to get Rangers back to the top echelons of football, especially in Scotland. And we're questioning his recruitment. We questioned it last season when they were in prime position to really go on and drive forward and try and clamber Celtic, you know, their dominance in terms of getting the league back at Ibrox. They failed to do that. They failed today. They failed in the Champions League. And you're giving the manager, who people are criticising already, criticising his signings, his formation, the way that he's gone about it.
Okay.
And they give him the hierarchy, the money men, the people at the very, very top at Rangers Football Club. They give him a new deal. That's what you got to question, not the manager, the people who are giving him the new deal.
Derek?
Do you think maybe the board done that, John, to silence the fans, to say we're going to back the manager no matter what? And because of the way the shares are diluted, Craig, then it would be really hard for somebody to buy the club at the moment, the way the shares are diluted. So, because Dave King can't even sell his 14%, so nobody's obviously interested in doing it.
Yep.
Due to the lack of money in Scottish football. It astonished me, John, that Rangers gave him a new contract, because he's not done enough for me to be given a new contract. If you can't beat Ross Carrington Dundee, then there's severe problems.
But Derek, do you think as well, in the end, you look at Van Bronckhorst, they sacked him, Michael Beale, they sacked him, they're in a position now they can't sack another manager. They can't pay him off. They played Van Bronckhorst off, Beale off. They just go in almost, we have to stick with this manager and see what he gives us.
Derek, do you agree?
I think next 2 weeks on Sunday night, if he doesn't beat Dundee United, he'll be gone.
Yeah, again, Derek, I can't disagree.
He should beat Dundee United. You know, they're the promoted team from the Championship. If you can't beat that, they should beat Dundee United, and they will beat Dundee United.
All right, as John there defending Philippe Clement at that point. Derek, we're out of time. Thank you for your call. Craig, final thought on Rangers before we talk about the winner of Celtic this afternoon again?
Things can only get better.
Things can only get better.
It could be a long wait. Gregory has been on here, quite a lot of Celtic fans who are on, and he is saying, piling on the agony, putting on the style, an old song. John Hartson, final word then about Celtic this afternoon, 3-0. They dominated the derby.
Yeah, well, they go into the game, 3 wins, not conceding a goal. Again, very, very professional. They look the better outfit. They look as if they got better players. And it's very difficult for Rangers right now. You know, they're chasing their tail financially and performances on the pitch. So for me, it was a thoroughly deserved win from Celtic. And certainly now Clement and the Rangers supporters want a reaction now on the pitch from their team.
John, Craig, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night at 5. Barry Ferguson and Mark Guidi will be here with me at the Go Radio Football Show. It's Celtic's day in the derby, 3-0. See you tomorrow at 5.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. Listen anytime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go!